What up, everybody? Welcome to the big break, the big DuskBreakers NFT reveal stream. My name is Bernie Sue, and that is Joshy. Joshy, say hello.
Hi, everybody. I'm AskJoshy. I just want to throw a quick disclaimer. I'm not part of the team, but I will be part of the stream here, helping them reveal all of our NFTs today, asking questions to the devs and things like that. I'm just a holder, not part of the company. So, yeah, happy to be here.
Great to be here. Great to have you here, Joshy. He's going to be helping us out with some of the hosting and Q&As here. I'm Bernie Sue. I am part of the team. I'm doing a bunch of the creative. Yeah, it's doing a bunch of things, whatever I can do to help out and make this great experience. So, what is DuskBreakers? Those of you who don't know, I'm sure if you're all here, you know what it is, but it's an interactive world building experience. We call it an NFT saga. It's powered by the blockchain. And we as a community are going to be making a lot of choices collectively that will set the franchise up. And you're going to see a lot of that today. Yeah, all sorts of good stuff. We're also going to be meeting a lot of the team members here for you to have some fun with and talk to. But the big thing we are going to be doing is doing our art reveal. So let's just get into it right away. You're all here for it, right? Let's see you in the chat. Let's go. And let's bring up JT. JT, can we bring up JT when you get a second? Here we go. Oh, here he is. There is JT.
Hey, everyone. How are you today?
Oh, doing great. Doing great. JT, so tell us about how you got on this project. Like, what brought you here?
Well, a long time ago now, I met Kevin Lin and the other founders of Justin.tv, and they talked about this really amazing idea that they had called Twitch, and told me and gave me a great overview of their vision, and was a total believer in it, and went to work at Twitch for 9 years or so with Kevin, and then the last couple of years been doing some other gaming stuff. And then Kevin was like, you know what would be really cool is if we could create this, an amazing community around the NFT space and really power awesome experiences with games in it. And I was super excited and pumped about that. So I came on and did a bunch of coding and joined as the CTO here.
Awesome. It is an honor and pleasure to have you. JT, obviously I've known you for a bit. Josh, you also know Josh, you know JT as well, right?
Yeah, so if anyone knows anything about me, I've been in esports scene for a long, long time. StarCraft 2 was the big hot title in 2010, 2011 when Twitch was launched. And I actually met JT before Twitch even existed. He was with another company at the time called Well Played, and me being a StarCraft commentator, influencer, what have you, I was trying to climb the ranks of his early project, Well Played. So I've known him, over a decade now, which is weird to say out loud, but, esports and gaming are very small industries, so it only makes sense that you run into people, a few years apart from time to time. And I'm happy to see JT still making some awesome stuff here.
Happy to see you as well, Josh.
Nice. So just so you know what you're seeing around on the screen here. So on to, I guess, my left, your right on the screen is the poll system. So we're going to be using this poll system later in the show. So I encourage you to authenticate to vote. It is, don't ignore the bit voting part. That is off. We are not doing bit voting. So don't worry about that. We're going to keep it clean here. So JT, like this, let's get to the reveal. I mean, obviously, everybody here is really excited to see their breakers, see their art. What's the process here? Like, tell us about that.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to. So what we've done is Geers, who will be on later, is worked tirelessly, countless hours, making a lot of amazing pieces of images. We then take our software and we assemble those into the NFT images that will be revealed. In that process, we want to make sure that it is completely fair and completely transparent. So after we generate the images, what we need to do then is to basically pick a random number that will be the starting image of the set of 10,000 that we've generated. And nobody will know what the starting, not us, not anyone on planet Earth can know. We'll pick that random number here. And then I'm going to shuffle all of the images that we have by that number, and then deploy that, and that will reveal it to the whole community. So it's a lot of technology involved to ensure that everything is fair, that neither we nor anybody else can know who's going to get what breaker. That is completely unknown at this point. And so what we're going to do is the process of being fair and transparent with you, our community.
Amazing. And then so after, by the way, we'll generate this number in a second. You're going to all see it. We're going to do it together. You're going to all see this number. And after this, they're going to be able, they can vet this, right? They can go back and see the chain, I guess. I don't.
Yeah. So the general idea is called provenance. When I initially generated all of these images, I got a unique hash, basically a number that uniquely identifies the image, and it's provable that it is uniquely identifiable. Then I took all of those hashes and put them together, one after the other in order to generate a final provenance hash. And then we posted that number on our website and inside of our NFT contract, so that after we get this initial starting number, if you so chose, you could calculate this all yourself, right? This is completely and totally verifiable. There's no way for anyone to know what breaker number would have come to what image. It was completely impossible. And we did that to make sure that that we had a really fair reveal process, that there wasn't any way for anybody to know any information, that there's that everybody gets the same chance of getting a breaker. And so that's the technical process of how it works, and we're going to go through and implement it.
Yeah,
amazing.
I'll chime in and say, the trust verifiable process here is a big thing for me as a holder. That's a part of the reason I saw this project as so appealing, is just the strength of the team, the trust involved with the reputations you guys already have. So this is just more to that point. But to shorten everything JT just said, basically we pick a number and we hit the slot machine and we see what we get. It's kind of how it goes.
But the important part is every step is provable along the way, and there's no magic to it. There's just math.
Nice. Well, yeah, Josh, you want to do this?
I don't know who's got the button to actually press.
I have the button. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip over to a random org website. I'm going to show you that this is the actual website. Okay. And I'm actually going to run this just once, this is not the number we're doing. Okay. One generate number between 1 and 100. We need a bigger number than this. So this is not it. Just showing you that it's working. All right. Okay. Okay. Just showing you that's working. 24. Okay. That's not the number. Okay. Going back. All right. So JT, just making sure I need to do this right quickly. I do
no
one.
problem. So generate one number. Mm-hmm. The starting number needs to be 1, because we don't want to generate number 0, because number 0, we already have image 0. So just for fairness sake, we're not going to use 0. The top number, of course, is going to be 9,999. And then what we will do is shuffle the breakers by that. I've got some code that goes and does that. Once we have this number, I think let's see. Looking at the screen here, you've got 1. You go from 1 to 9,999, and once we push this button, there's no backsies. This is our number, our starting index for all time.
Nice. All right, here we go. Everybody ready? People in the chat ready? Look at that. I got the LFGs. Let's go.
Please be a funny number.
All right, we're gonna get a number here. Here we go. Getting the number, and the number is 2986. Right? Everybody see this? 2986. Little zoom in.
That's better.
2986.
A little more zoom in. Yeah, I'm just trying to. I just want to make sure everybody sees it. There's no funny business going on. We just did it. All right, that is the number 2986.
That is our starting index. All right.
That is the starting index. I'm coming back. Here's me. Oh, I'm big now. but that is starting number. Okay, so JT, I'm gonna let you go in a second. But again, so just reiterate to the people who are watching, those of us who are completely ignorant to the process, what's gonna happen now?
Well, now I go back to my computer and I run some algorithms that I have that shuffled it based on that. The algorithm's fairly simple. It is that starting index plus your token ID divided by 10,000, of course, and that will map to the initial image sequence that we generated. Which is the exact same way that other NFTs, such as Bored Ape Yacht Club, did it. I really liked how they did their fairness and provenance, and we definitely wanted to be on that level. So now we've got the number, and I'm excited to go run a bunch of code.
That's only you, JT. Only you. All right. Well, so I know you all want to see your breakers. In order to do that, we got to get JT out of here. And so JT, great having you on. Great to be a part of this. Can't wait to see our NFTs, my NFTs. I'm crazy excited to see mine. I'm sure everybody in the chat is excited to see theirs. So JT, thanks for joining us. Let us know if you have anything for us. So.
All right, that sounds good. Let me go pull the levers on the computer, and I'll be heads down. But thanks everybody for being part of this community. I was super excited to put together this project for you. It was a lot of fun, as a technologist, to develop all these cool technologies here, and it's just getting started. We have so many amazing plans that you'll be hearing about in the future, and the value of a breaker is just getting started. It's going to power a lot of amazing things. So thanks everybody. Time to go code. Bye.
Thank you, JT.
In my world,
it's so good.
Punch the keys. Punch the keys.
It's so good to have a guy who likes to code, right? Because the rest of us, it just goes over our head. But JT is the guy who makes it happen, and now he's holding the keys to get all of these revealed. So as he is working, my understanding is that it's going to take some time.
Yes.
To actually compile. So obviously we have some more people available to talk to while all that code is running, and JT is busy at the wheel getting that done. So we have some more guests that we want to talk to.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we bring them on, though, and this is buying a little time in the transition, but just want to let you know, audience, you are feel free to ask questions in the chat for any of us. Next up, we're going to have David, Kevin, and Geers all on. I'm going to drop off for a bit. I'm going to come on later on the show for some very extra special programming. But Joshy here is going to be moderating and handling these questions. So ask your questions in the chat. Get it in there. We got people moderating and pulling questions for the audience, for the guests here, or the team, really. And I'm actually really curious to see, Josh, what you asked them, because you're coming in it from an outside perspective. I've been living in it for like 24/7 for the last couple of weeks, it feels like. So I'm really curious. So anyway, so I'll say bye for now. See you guys later. Next up, the rest of team members, David, Kevin, and Geers, up next.
All right. Thank you very much, Bernie. And now, as he just mentioned, we've got some more team members here to talk to. Let's just go one person at a time here. We'll start with Kevin. Welcome to your very own show, your very own reveal show. Do you want to start with any opening message or introduce yourself here quickly?
Hey everybody, my name's Kevin Lin, one of the founding team here at MetaTheory, the builders of DuskBreakers. Also was co-founder and CEO of Twitch for a while, so it's really exciting to be using this platform for our project. Super excited to be working in this space. Really thrilled to be working with the team we have here. Very excited to see you too, Joshy, after so long. Doing all the crazy esports stuff. So yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in. We're really excited to do the reveal. Really excited to have some fun around the character universe as this broadcast plays out.
Excellent. And next up, we've got David down just below me here. How are you doing, David? want to introduce yourself as well?
Doing fantastic. Yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm David Barthwell, one of the co-founding team members. I'm heading up a lot of the creative and mostly responsible for the world building. I would say that is what I'm most excited about, to see everybody's enthusiasm for this world that we're building here, and to see it come to life in games, to see it come to life in other multimedia. And I'm super excited to reveal a lot about what we have planned to build for you guys over the next year and even further out. So thanks, everybody. Welcome.
Excellent. Glad to have you here as well. And finally, concealing his face, but he's drawn a face for us to look at. It is Geers Art, who is, of course, the great artist behind all of the NFTs that we're so anxiously awaiting to see what we unpack here very soon. So Geers, again, welcome to your very own reveal stream. And let us know, do you have anything you want to say to the audience or introduction for yourself? And also tell us a little bit about what you might be doing here on the stream. Geers, do we got you there?
Oh, sorry. Can you not hear me?
There you go. I hear you now.
Okay, cool. Sorry. Hey, my name is Darren Geers. I go by GeersArt, one of the founding members of Metatheory, and I am the art director and in charge of the majority of the artwork that's been going on behind the scenes on DuskBreakers project. Today I'm going to be drawing a wallpaper live while everything else is kind of going on, and then I'll just be sitting behind the scenes and random updates, you guys can see it, and then hopefully by the end of this thing we'll have something we can post to the community, some official DuskBreakers artwork.
Awesome. So Geers is going to be just doodling away while we, of course, pick the brains of the rest of the team, and of course we'll have the ability to ask Geers some questions as well. But all right, first and foremost, now that we've got everybody introduced, we've got the button pressed, presumably JT is out there slotting in and getting the fair verifiable NFTs for us all to enjoy. Now we have some time to actually sit and pick your brains a bit. So Kevin, I'll start with you. Obviously, you're the name and sort of face attached to the project. I just, found out about it a few weeks ago, and that seems to be what most people are, touting for the DuskBreakers project, is the fact that you're involved. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your vision for the project, or even why NFTs, why DuskBreakers in general?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll try to tell the short story version of how we all got together. I'd say for a long time, I've always wanted to make a video game and an anime. I have many random interests, and I had this anime idea that was a story of the end of the world due to an alien attack and sort of human forces being unable to resist that attack. And I'd been telling this story to Bernie and David and a few other friends periodically over the course of many years. And it really obviously never went anywhere. I don't know how to make an anime, we're learning how to do that now, but certainly not before. And then I had a separate idea for a video game that was a sort of revised Tamagotchi, like an updated, modernized Tamagotchi. And through COVID, after I left Twitch in November, came to Taiwan with basically freedom for six months. It was really great, a very, very safe place to be during the COVID time. And then we hit lockdown starting in May earlier this year, and started to realize I should really do something. I should not just drift for the rest of my life. So I should try to build something interesting. And I met a ton of people from crypto and Web3 here in Taiwan. A lot of people were kind of holding out here. And all the while I was talking with Dave, hey, let's work on something. I've always wanted to work on something with Dave. Dave's an old friend of mine from college. We've tinkered on a few projects here and there throughout our history, but never really latched onto something that we really were so excited about. And we were tossing around a couple of ideas, and we kept going back to this. Okay, let's build games. This will be super fun. Not only can we build games, we can build comics, we can make anime, we can make shows, all the stuff that we've always wanted to do to exercise the creative side of our brain, and landed on this project. DuskBreakers actually came as a later thought. So we started working on the DuskBreakers idea after we got more people on the team. So we reached out to Geers. I found out Geers was leaving Twitch. And Geers, one of my favorite artists in the world, one of my favorite people in the world. So we reached out and said, hey, look, we don't really have a formed idea yet. We're kind of tossing around a few stories, a few worlds that are just seeds that we can build upon. after that, really started thinking, okay, who else can we bring on the team? Reached out to JT and Nick and Bernie, and then Adam and Nelson, who aren't going to be on stream today, but I met them both here in Taiwan during the last year. It just started to all fall together. But DuskBreakers as the seed idea, I'll pass it over to Dave, really started to come together right at the very end of September, early October, as we were just talking about, well, there's all this incredible momentum going on in the NFT space, and not a lot of people actually building games. There's a lot of noise, a lot of sort of future promise of video games. And in fact, there's some really cool projects that were announced then. But we thought, okay, what if we built something more faster? Well, how do we get to market more quickly and really learn as quickly as possible? And that's when, we started talking about, okay, Geers, like what have you been inspired by? What kind of artwork has been swirling around in your head? And it sort of went into this concept of cyborgs and bionics. Like what is this future? What does this impending actual real human future mean when we can just replace things, replace broken body parts? And then Dave kind of took that as the seed for the future story of DuskBreakers. So I'll pass it over to Dave.
Yeah, that was the genesis. I would say for me, something that I really thought about while I was cooking on, what became this world of DuskBreakers is this all occurred, during COVID. Kevin and I have been discussing this for a while, but COVID came out of nowhere, hit all of us. And I know for myself, it caused a lot of deep introspection. I decided to wrap up a business that I had run for the last 20 years in order to work with Kevin and the DuskBreakers team. I know that I'm not the only person who had to spend that time to consider what does it mean to work, to do the jobs that they're doing. Number of people had to make very difficult decisions around continuing to work in the middle of a pandemic, exposing themselves potentially to danger, right? What does it mean to have essential work? Yeah, just the concept of working. I think a lot of people began to really think about that, and to me that was a very important concept. That was a very interesting theme to explore. In our universe, in the DuskBreakers world, there is this derelict alien spaceship, the Dusk, that is floating above the Earth, and our breakers commute from the surface up to the Dusk on a space elevator in order to do work every day. They go onto the ship, they break, and they bring those resources out of the ship and bring them back down to the surface of the planet. And so for them, it is a job. It's work. It's work, and it's work that they do. And the idea is to consider this work that is very important, of course, to the planet in DuskBreakers. These resources are necessary to power the Earth and to build technologies, right? But they have to risk a lot going onto the ship. The ship is very mysterious. The ship can be very dangerous. And every day they make this decision, or perhaps they don't quite get to make that decision. Maybe that decision is made for them, that they go into the dusk and risk their lives and their bodies in order to provide for themselves, for their families, and for the planet. We want our players to be able to explore themes that are complex like this, and we hope to explore these sorts of themes and other themes in associated multimedia content, like for instance a webcomic or even an anime in the future.
Okay, so obviously we've got the setting kind of fleshed out, or continuing to be fleshed out. Sci-fi, derelict spaceship. We've got potentially factions, specific jobs. You've got Dusk Tech itself, giving missions and things like that. So obviously the shell of a budding story is there, and people interested in the setting, are obviously buying in early on this. Geers, let me ask you now, as you continue to draw here, you can take a break if you like, but I am curious, when Kevin was kind of bouncing this idea off you, did you immediately have something in mind for this, or were you excited to kind of have an open canvas in front of you here?
It was a combination of both. So there wasn't a direct idea in mind. It kind of built off of the interests that I have. When they asked what do you enjoy drawing most, I was just like cybernetics, cyborgs, cyberpunk, genre type stuff. future tech. And that sort of like turned into an amalgamation between the original anime idea with like the alien invasion stuff. Like it always comes back to aliens with Kev for some reason. But it it sort of merged into a version of the type of subject matter that I like to draw and sort of like the anime direction that we want to go eventually. And so trying to create something that's a little bit more approachable, a little bit more like universally friendly, but still maintain some of the cool like hard science fiction stuff that a lot of us like to talk about, is sort of where DuskBreakers evolved from. Right now, I'm just drawing a Duskbreaker in the middle of combat. I guess if anyone's played the Play-Doh-Mint game that we had out, will recognize the little gribble creature in the background and maybe bring about some PTSD of getting swarmed by him. But yeah, so like as we're talking, I'll keep plugging away at this.
Great. So I do want to remind everyone in the chat, if you're just joining us or maybe missed earlier on in the stream, the process of revealing the NFTs has begun. It can take up to an hour, and we did just do it, less than an hour ago. So please, remain patient. Obviously, you can spam when reveal in chat, but it doesn't make them show up any faster. So yeah, we're in process currently. Right now, we are just talking with the dev team to learn more about their hopes and dreams and plans for the project, things like that. David, you talked about various multimedia that you would like to attach to this universe over the course of time, comics, shows, things like that. And I used to work for a company called Blizzard, and back in that, in those meeting rooms, they would love to say things like that, to get the full multimedia experience. They would say they wanted to become, the Disney of video games or whatever it is. My question, I guess, now is the characters that are being revealed today, what could a holder of one of these NFTs expect to see of their own collection in some multimedia like this? Is there an opportunity to see something in a show and say, hey, that's mine? Like I literally own that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's incredibly important. We want to create value for every NFT in our collection. We want to make it so that anyone who is holding an NFT, even if it's maybe not the one with the rarest traits, can prove their mettle by playing a game, by participating in the community, and for that breaker to become famous. We sort of have a saying that every breaker plays a role, plays a part, and we truly believe that. Even later today on this stream, we're going to be proving that with action. We are going to, in real time, create some backstory for one of the revealed NFTs. That backstory is going to become canon and will be folded into the narrative arc that we are going to be exploring over time through our webcomic, through our game. So in this fashion, we hope to be able to pick from the community. NFT holders are going to see their characters become important in the story.
Awesome. And so now some questions are starting to surface as we talk more about, gameplay and things like that. You did mention, or Geers mentioned, the Play to Mint game actually with the Gribbles, where our first experience with the Dusk was walking through this alien spaceship, blasting bugs and opening chests is basically, the gameplay loop. There was an 8-minute timer, bosses, things like that. People are starting to ask now, maybe Kevin can address, Hoopscotch, asks, I'm curious what the vision is for a kick-ass game that seems to have a player base limited to 10K players in theory. Is there any sort of hints, any sort of vision for the larger term game aside from, these smaller experiences that we've already gone through?
Yeah. So couple of thoughts before I describe our thinking around game design. Number one, while we have 10,000 NFT holders, and they will have special benefits in the universe, including what as Dave just described, becoming canon and characters through the storytelling that we do and the content that we make. We want to make a free-to-play game. We want anyone to be able to play our game. I think that's one issue we hear a lot, one frustration we hear a lot about in the space is, well, not only are a lot of NFTs not really used for anything, a lot of projects kind of drift in sort of a zombie state for a while. We want to actually produce stuff. As you've seen, we've made a game. We're going to start releasing content, and part of this broadcast is to help power that content through engaging some of our community. But we want to make games that are free to play. We want to stay away from pay-to-win mechanics as well. So those are two core philosophies of ours as we continue to build. So if you are a 10K, one of the Genesis NFT holders, again, some special benefits to come. We are still determining what those look like, but our games in general, across all Meta Theory games, will be free to play and thus approachable for the general audience. In terms of game design, what you see is just an arcade experience. We really want to emphasize that. We built this game, the Play to Mint game. You could read about it on our Medium, medium.com/metatheoryinc, for multiple reasons. One was anti-botting, and in talking with a variety of NFT community members, that was one of the biggest frustrations, is that during a public mint, bots or human bot farms would scoop up a huge chunk of it and sort of disrupt the natural market mechanism. Second was just to really have some fun, like really give folks something to do. And a lot of our friends in this space actually that built NFT projects were like, guys, what are you doing? You're overcomplicating things. Don't put something out there. You don't need to. Just sell the NFTs and like take the money and build something later. We're like, well, that doesn't feel right? Like we want to ship something. We want to get something into people's hands that we're proud of, that people can have some fun with and see, hey, we're really committed here. But it is just an arcade game. It was built in a very short period of time, less than 2 months, by a small, like really amazing team down in Texas, led by Nick and JT. So we're really proud of that work that they did. But it is just an arcade game. Now, is it the seed of something bigger? You'll kind of have to wait and see. Dave is working on the game design doc now for the full game, the actual real deep game that we're building, hopefully launching sometime in the second half of 2022. We've had many different ideas, but really the important thing for us is to make sure we get the game design right, and then think about all the other earning mechanisms around that. And Joshy, just to touch on the point earlier, sort of why Web3 games, why are we interested in it? I think there's a lot of misperceptions. There's a lot of misperception, particularly around the, is this going to destroy the environment? The short answer is no. While we launched on ERC 721, we are not staying on that for the video game. It is unsustainable for sure. A lot of proof of stake protocols like Solana or Immutable or Polygon, et cetera, are not so energy intensive, and so that argument really kind of goes out the window. But it still provides all the provable ownership mechanisms that we like. But a big part of it really is, you look at games like Axie, what they've done is really given people an alternative method of work. Now, you have to design these economies really carefully, which means you also need to design the game really carefully so that your inputs into the game, you input into the game value, and then you can draw value out later. And so that has to remain in a good, healthy balance. And a lot of the existing games today, unfortunately, are not quite designed perfectly yet, but natural. It's a very nascent industry, but we're giving it a lot of thought. So we don't want to say anything right now, because we might realize that this game that we dream to make doesn't actually really make sense for a live token economy. So we're really we're giving it a lot of thought. We're talking to a lot of professional, insanely smart economists, not just people who give us money to make a token as fast as possible. We're trying to be really intelligent about it. And really thoughtful in the design so that we can build something truly sustainable that'll last decades. And then that seed from DuskBreakers will extend into all the other games and universes as well. So we'll build similar economies as we learn. So we're hesitant to say anything about what the game design is going to look like, because we may have sudden realizations that they don't work really.
Yeah, I figured you would want to share as much as you possibly could. There were obviously, strong reasons to keep things close to the vest on, future plans, and a lot of the buy-in in these early phase, I'm going to keep calling it this early phase, maybe the last 2 weeks run up to now, with the Play to Mint event and the initial interest, because I was, following the Twitter and the Discord, and there were, 2,000 followers each or so only about 10 to 15 days ago. So the growth has all been, a lot of it based on the potential for the project, more so than what's already existing or immediate ROI for owning an NFT. But understandably, people who don't know much about you guys or about what you're trying to build, they've got questions about the NFTs. What good is an NFT? We touched on that a little bit with the potential for seeing themselves in interactive experiences. They've got, clout when it comes to making decisions for these interactive experiences. That's really cool. People do have questions now still about would there be benefits to owning more than one of these NFTs? Is someone with 20 going to be able to have a large advantage over someone with only one? And then further down that rabbit hole, rarities. Now we know that rarities are in existence with these NFTs, and there are one-of-ones and things like that. Maybe David could touch on that as far as more utility for the NFT when it comes to number of NFTs owned and rarities on these things.
Yeah, I can very briefly touch on that. As we've mentioned, fairness is very important to us. We also don't want to lean in to pay to win mechanics. What I can say is that there will be definite benefits for holding a DuskBreaker. We want the project to be accessible for people who maybe can't afford a DuskBreaker. So anyone will be able to play. This is going to be a mass market game. We want this to be accessible to everyone. Holding a DuskBreaker will afford benefits. However, let's say there's a whale wallet with 100 DuskBreakers. Will that whale wallet gain major benefits and be able to lord over everyone else in the community? No, we are going to mitigate that in our game design to make sure that the people with the largest number of holdings, sure, they may be recognized in the community. I'm sure we'll all know them. But that doesn't mean that they're going to be able to be on top all the time. Again, there's a lot of things to balance, a lot of things to keep in mind, but fairness is front and center for us, as well as making this project accessible for people.
Excellent. And so that touches on the number of NFTs. I know that we before the show in rehearsal pulled up some of the rarity bits of the NFTs that are about to be revealed or currently in the process of being revealed. Do we have those ready to show off or discuss? Gears is still drawing down there. But if we've got maybe some pieces to show off.
Yeah. Let's see. We can pull up some. We have some traits to show you. We can talk about some of these traits. These are some of the more rare traits. If you pull a DuskBreaker with one of these traits, I'm sure you'll be very happy. Let's see. Why don't we start pulling some of them up? We can pull up Face Shield if that's available. And we can just go through these pretty quickly. Right. Yeah. So this is a pretty nice rare trait. Floating Face Shield. 4.9% of all of our DuskBreakers have a floating face shield. And this harkens back, the inspiration to this was protective equipment. These DuskBreakers are workers and they're going into the ship. And so they need various amounts of armor and protection in order to make sure that they're able to safely conduct their workday. So a floating technological face shield is a great way to make sure you don't get sparks in your eyes when you're disassembling technology on the ship.
Absolutely, that's exciting. Just the face shield is exciting to me already. The 5% chance. Give me that face shield.
Yeah, even Gears can make even a regular face shield look amazing. This guy is talented. Let's pull up armed drone. So now we got an armed drone. The armed drone. This was part of one of our first community polls. We asked everyone if they wanted the DuskBreakers to have drones or not. Everyone voted yes. But this is a very special drone. Everyone gets a drone, but not everyone gets a red armed drone. And the drones are very helpful on the ship in our play to mint game. They would highlight rare breakables, and they will have other functions in the main game once that launches next year. So that will be revealed. Let's pull up Kaneda. Let's pull up the jacket. Nice. Kev, you're an anime guy. Why don't you talk about Kaneda?
Actually, I mean, this was really one of Gears' choices. This was obviously inspired by a very famous anime called Akira. I'd like to kick it over. I mean, Gears, I don't know if you want to talk and draw at the same time, but This was certainly, as we talked through a lot of like what things can we bring into our universe that we really like, that were important to us, as we were growing up, from a variety of places, games, anime, comics, etc. This was something that I think Gears was particularly excited to bring into the world.
Awesome. I see.
Yeah, there's a couple instances. Yeah, there's a couple instances of that. A lot of my, I guess, inspiration growing up for drawing came from particular manga artists like Shiro Masamune and Otomo. Like, I think there's, if I remember correctly, there's one Ghost in the Shell reference. I'm not gonna say what. There's one aspect of Ghost in the Shell, and then this one is particularly from Akira. So if anyone watches like my drawing regularly, they can notice that some of the line work and stuff is reflective of those types of old school artists.
Very cool.
Yeah. Let's pull up the last one. We have Kinshasa. This is one of my favorites. I would say this might be my actual favorite trait. And I'll go just a little bit off on the lore. So the Kinshasa mask is named after the capital of the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is where our story is primarily based. It's based in the region where the Congo currently is, as an equatorial country with access to the dusk. There's a space elevator that's built on the ground. It reaches up into the sky in order to access the ship. And surrounding the base of the space elevator is a trade town, and a lot of the story will take place there. But the inspiration for this mask came from the Kuba, which is a traditional kingdom centered in the Congo. And they have some really beautiful art, sophisticated masquerade, and dance traditions. And this particular mask represents Ngadi Mwash, which is the female ancestor of the Kuba, who, along with their traditional hero Woot, gave rise to all human beings. And masks of this type are worn to perform at funerals and initiation rites. But also the king holds these masks, and they're guarded and kept under guard in the royal palace. And so a mask like this, when upgraded with technology from the Dusk itself, contains great power in addition to protecting your breaker. And as someone with Western and Central African heritage, it's very special to me that I can fold all of this into the lore, and I can see something like that in the project.
That's excellent, and I can tell it means a lot to you. We're going deep with the lore already. Just the pieces of the NFTs that we're in the process of revealing right now have so much detail to them. So that obviously is making me smile. I know chat is blown up now after some of these reveals. And again, these are just a few of the rarer pieces on the NFTs that are being revealed right now. If you're just joining us, that process is underway right now. GeersArt is here drawing a brand new wallpaper for us. I'm here with Kevin and David talking through bits and pieces of the project, and we just saw some of those rarer pieces. Now, we do know from little teases throughout this week that there are some one-of-ones in the system. There's some corrupted. Everyone wants to know more about the corrupted, and if there will be more one-of-ones in the collection. I'll let either one of you guys tackle that one. Kevin, want to tease us about corrupted? Nick Allen says he wants to know if he's corrupted already or not.
Oh, Nick was actually the inspiration for the corrupted. So how do we not give too much away? Okay, so the corrupted are mysterious sentinels that are seen rarely on the ship, oftentimes in the darkest corners, and they've been described by most veteran breakers to up and coming recruits and new breakers, basically as boogeymen. To scare people away from theoretically rich ores and particularly resourceful parts of the ship. That if you encounter these boogeymen, they will plunge their hands through any dust tech armor, implanting crystals in your body and causing almost immediate death. And so they're used almost as ghosts, but they're rarely ever seen. And so people think of them as a myth. There's only 2 of these. And the lore will come out over time. I'm not sure how much more I can safely say. So, Dave, you should add if you feel comfortable adding more. But that's about it. That's all we really want to give the audience today. Remember, a lot of what we're doing is we're setting a baseline. We're setting a foundation of a story. Our hypothesis is, for an audience to rebuild on something, there needs to be some interesting foundation, but we want the flexibility to have audience feedback really influence where things are going, including the corrupted in this case. So all the sort of Reddit theory crafting on, we're totally influencing the direction of Lost or Westworld or things like that is actually going to happen here. Will you know it's happening? Not necessarily. In some cases, it's very overt, as you'll see on the rest of the show. But in many cases, we'll be listening. We'll be mining the Discords and the Twitters and the other social medias for what is it that our audience is really thinking about, our community is really thinking about, and adapting that into the story.
That's excellent. I know a lot of people, might be buying into the project just to have a little bit of creative sway on something that will last a long time and, have a large community. So I'm excited to, potentially leave a mark on whatever story comes our way. And, David mentioned earlier, we will actually be fleshing out some DuskBreaker backstories a little bit later on the stream. If you guys stick around with us, we are still, I believe, waiting for these images to start to appear. I'm actually refreshing constantly on my own as I'm holding a few breakers myself, but I haven't seen anything yet. We're gonna obviously get an update from production if and when that happens. Now we can see a little close up on Geers Art work in progress here as well. All right, I'm just going to reach now here for some more of the questions from Discord and Twitter. Looks like people are interested in some more traditional business questions for Metatheory and DuskBreakers, and asking if there's any other large VC friends or marketing that you guys plan on doing, or is it going to be a more organic experience? I think Kevin might be the more appropriate person to target marketing questions to. Okay, David's like, yes, please.
Sure.
I just like
we could. Yeah, I think those are the two questions in one, right? I think from a funding perspective, we have raised from a number of angel investors, friends from a variety of industries who are really helping us. Everything from thinking about basic game design. How do we really from the ground up think of an interesting game design that also works in the Web3 world? We have heavyweight economic thinkers, high-level macroeconomic thinkers that are helping us think about token design as well. We have a lot of friends in the crypto space that are helping us organically market. I think that's what we have been focused on. This is our first project. First time for most of us making a game. A couple of folks on the team, JT, Nick, Nelson, have made games before, but for David and I and the others, first go. And we're learning a lot as we build. I mean, it's this beautiful yet very complex marriage of art, story, technology, and game design, interaction design. And it's tough. They all really do inform each other. And so we have a really awesome group of angel investors, some of whom are VCs. I see this asked a lot in Discord. I think the reason to ask this question is this team resourced enough to survive the long run? The answer is yes. We are very well resourced, and we will continue to be well resourced. We have no issues with that. Although we have been building very organically. We've been building with a very small team. The team's been working really hard as a small team to get this project off the ground in a very short period of time with very limited resources. But we are resourced up for the future. On the marketing side, yeah, we like organic growth. Twitch was very organic growth. We went from creator to creator, and one degree away, creators brought their audience into the platform, and we loved it that way. It helped us build the right product. It helped us stay focused. It helped us keep I know this is changing over time as more and more people pile into anything, whether that's a physical group of friends or a company or a platform like Twitch, things get out of hand. But I will say, and Josh, I'd love your thoughts here, as you were one of the very early people on Twitch, very, very early believers and very active community members. It felt like a very enlarged family. It felt like a very extended global family. Like people didn't like when people acted a fool in chat. And that was a sentiment we heard from almost all the creators we had, and we built tools to help them do that. And it was great for a really long time. It's still an amazing platform. Don't get me wrong. I still love Twitch. I still watch Twitch. I still participate in many creator chats. But I think that's what we like, and that's what we're good at. Now, do we want it to get big? Yes. But do we want to start with a really strong community foundation of people who are building with us, who are helping us do everything from figuring out story to just moderating and helping us keep our Discord and Twitter communities good and healthy and kind. That's how we like to build. So we didn't pay any marketers. We didn't work with any agencies. We did this very, very much one degree at a time.
It's interesting. I'm seeing reactions in chat kind of as you're talking, and some people are like, you know, he's keeping it real, and some people are like, no marketing, WTF? Like, what? But you mentioned,
we're marketing to the best of our ability. We're using the tools that are available. But are we paying people? Are we buying traffic? No, we're not doing that. This may all change when we launch a game. As David said, we want to make mass market games. And so to make a mass market game successful, to do right by our community, particularly right by our Genesis NFT holders, our early believers who are supporting us, is to market games in the best possible way at the time of launch. So in the meantime, we'll continue to grow the audience. We will continue to do cool things to engage on a regular basis, whether that's comics or additional arcade games or other interactive experiences along the way. But we'll do marketing, traditional marketing, so to speak, when the time is appropriate. We are not going to do that. But for now, from a core community building perspective, we kind of like we like the way it's grown, and it kind of grows in step functions. You know, going up to launch, we had about 6K in Discord. It was pretty active. We had awesome community members in there, and then 2 days later, we were at 12K, and we're higher than that now. And so we're learning to manage a bigger and bigger audience there over time.
Yeah, you mentioned just the early days of Twitch, and again, for the audience, I'm AskJoshy on all the socials and stuff like that. I'm not part of the MetaTheory team or DuskBreakers. I'm just, you know, a holder who's interested in the project. I've known Kevin and JT, who are on the team, for a very long time, and this was my first buy-in for an NFT project ever. I've been messing with coins long ago. You know, I sold a Bitcoin for $800, so that's how I give people a reference, right, for how long I've been just dabbling in coins. So I sold a Bitcoin for $800. I was there for the altcoin storm in early 2018 and stuff like that, but I've never invested personally into NFTs as a store of value for art, because that's just it's not aligned with my interests. I don't have much, you know, fine art on my walls. I'm a gamer. And so the aspect of having a community that want to play games together is obviously a big one for me. And the fact that if I'm playing games anyway, gacha games or strategy games or whatever it is, I might as well be trying to earn some money on the side, right? Or some, you know, exchangeable token, things like that. And you talked about early days of Twitch and the adoption with early esports. And to me, I've explained this in discussions many times, it was just hobbyists not trying to make a ton of money, not thinking esports was going to give them a payday, right, where they can quit their day job, but they already liked games, so they gravitated towards live streams. They met each other organically, as you're saying, because they already had the common interests. And this industry, I'm just going to say Web3 as an industry here, is still pretty new. It took an advent of like cable internet basically for something like Twitch to become successful. Now in 2021, the advent is MetaMask. Like it's you know, readily available crypto transferring and things like that, where everyone's aware of what Bitcoin is, at least, right? That wasn't the case 5 years ago or 10 years ago when we were doing this esports stuff. But I think the organic attraction of hobbyists will lead people to projects like this, and then the strong survive, right? There's tons of projects that either the creators abandoned at some point. And, you know, this is me just, again, as an individual doing research throughout the year. I've looked at lots of NFT projects. Axie Infinity caught my eye for sure as something I might want to get invested in. But really, gaming and NFTs are finally, this is the intersection where I wanted to finally get involved, because it feels organic. And I'm seeing a lot of gamers, like, I don't want to, you know, call out too many people, but I see in the chat we've got Wicked, Omewrecker, Atomic Mari, Swiftor, lots of recognizable names that were probably in the same boat as me a long time ago. Just early to the party, really happy to be a part of a growing community and get that attachment to other people with the same interests. And that's kind of where I'm sitting as just a hobbyist, right? Like, I'm not trying to get rich. If I do get rich, thank you, everybody. But, you know, that's not the point right now. And I'm just along for the ride. So some more, you know, questions from chat maybe. Seems like the art reveal has a little bit of time still on it. We got an update a few minutes ago that we're still waiting. But of course, if you guys are in the chat, continue to keep asking these questions. And right now we have another sort of business related, less story related, but Cedric said asks, what are the 371 breakers that are owned by the DuskBreakers treasury? Are they pre-sale or team breakers? Any clarity you guys can provide on the DuskTech stock of NFTs?
Yeah, so we minted 420 NFTs into our treasury, which will be used for team. As we build the team, we want to ensure people can get into the world, but the majority of them are for giveaways and marketing. So we'll do some giveaways you'll hear about towards the end of this show, and then onward into the future.
Nice, good hint there to stick around. Go ahead.
There's something you said earlier. If I could just very quickly touch on, I think the earning idea. I think what's really fascinating about Axie, who really paved the way for this whole movement, who's not running. They're running into difficulties, but they're an incredibly smart team, and I have faith that they will figure out how to solve this for future titles that they produce. But it is this really interesting for those that don't know and that haven't really studied this space very much. There's this interesting redistribution of wealth going on through video games, and it feels for some people strange that a video game would do this. But remember, when we were pitching Twitch back in 2011, we had to pitch over 80 venture capitalists to convince them that people watch each other play video games. And in fact, not only that was that happening, but people were making money by streaming and having other people watch them play video games. Axie has paved the way for play to earn, which is the basic concept of people get paid to play video games, a la Twitch, without having to make content. And it's empowered an entire group of people who traditionally maybe didn't even play games, retirees, underemployed, hyper low income in emerging markets like the Philippines, that were making, hundreds of dollars a month in USD or less and living, essentially at a poverty line, to make money and sell items that they're earning from playing these games to richer countries. That's the United States, that's Europe, that's Korea, and this is really happening. This is not a fake thing that's happening. Now, are all games structured nobly and correctly? No. Even in the space in crypto, in NFTs, I like Joshy have been dipping in and out of crypto for a while. I think many of us have. It's always felt really scammy and full of fraud and full of general distrust, even though the promise of blockchain is more trust. And that's what happens in a growing new ecosystem, a growing new sort of macro platform. But I just wanted to touch on that point because that was really important, and that's sort of why we're excited as well. But it is whether you want to earn or whether you just really want to play great games. We want to build for both. We want to build games that are awesome to play, that you love to play by yourself with your friends. You love talking about, that there's interesting lore around as well, that could extend into other media. That's the goal. But we also want to build in the Web3 world.
Yeah, I would just follow on to that. I think in this space there are a number of play to earn games. But it would be hard to really isolate any that are actually fun to play. A lot of them have mechanics that are very similar to click button, earn token. And the lore isn't very engaging, the story isn't very engaging, and the gameplay is very shallow. We want to create something that you will want to play even if you're not earning. That's the most important thing as I'm working on sort of the game design. This game will be able to stand alone. And we want it to be able to stand up against any of the other heavy hitters in terms of the gameplay, in terms of the graphics, and the experience that you have sort of exploring this world.
Awesome. Yeah, all sounds like, obviously there's a lot of interest from people who want to just play, people who want to try to earn, people who want to, make a buck on OpenSea, people who want to actually have influence on a long-term project with really smart people at the helm. So you've got an interesting intersection here of all sorts of audiences that I think is very interesting. And I'm just distracted now by Geers. He's actually added a gradient here now to his wallpaper. He's starting to colorize it a little bit, but even just the line work is already very cool. And I gotta say, we talked a little bit about early Twitch, and early Twitch was heavy StarCraft influence. I see the Gribble. I think Zerg drone, is that maybe not intentional, but maybe somewhat influenced.
I mean, we're drawing from a lot. Yeah, like it's games, books, movies. I said Gears, please.
Yeah, the comparison was definitely drawn early with the Gribbles and the drones.
Yeah, but I know, StarCraft is is just such a staple now for a lot of us gamers. But yeah, that art's coming right along. We got a lot of compliments for you, Gears, in the chat throughout this as well. And someone actually has a question directly for you. Were you academically trained somewhere formally or self-taught with this art style?
This is a question I used to get a lot when I streamed more. It's a mixture of both. I went to college for illustration, but it was traditional illustration. And just as a reference, if anyone's trying to get into drawing, I would highly recommend starting with traditional first. That's going to get your line confidence to a point where you can't really get when you start with digital. Because digital, you have a lot of sort of cheat tools that you can go to and rely on. But yeah, like anyone that's an artist that went to university, the majority of the skill that they have and what they know has been learned outside of the classroom, if that makes sense. Because, you know, you spend 4 years drawing inside of a school environment, but then you spend 20 years drawing outside of it, and you can kind of do the math of what's more important. So if you can't go to school, or if you didn't go to school, don't let that detract you from getting into art.
Awesome advice there. And you know, talking about your training and inspirations throughout the stream, people seem to be very interested and eager to have a piece of Gears art. So Kevin, you've got a question directed at you from Hantao that asks if you've got any inspirations in this Web3 space.
Inspirations from the Web3 space.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, you know, it's such a nascent space, and who in general.
It says
from the game
biggest impact on you in this space is the actual
in this
question.
space. Okay, that's broader. I mean, Web3 I'll go to. I mean, like, I'd say Jiho's from Axie has been super helpful. I mean, they're very thoughtful on economic design and you know, sort of these like self-realizations as they build as well. And he's just a really good, I think, shepherd for this space, because he's a good human. And then the whole team really, like, they're doing this very mission driven, right? It's not just chasing revenue. It's really truly mission driven. And other guild, you know, some of the guilds like YGG, Gabby have been helpful as well, as really just sort of mission inspirations for us. I think digging more into the past, I mean, I'd say one of my biggest inspirations from the game space is Mike Morheim, co-founder of Blizzard, CEO of Blizzard up until recently, just recently started Dreamhaven. We're actually, you know, working with Dreamhaven. We're part of Dreamhaven. They're supporting us and advising us, and have invested in us as a company. And have advised us on building all the things, everything from how to think about storytelling to how to think about game design, to how to think about even the little, you know, physics involved in the arcade game that we released. That Shane and Paul over there have been very, very helpful, and of course Mike and Amy are incredibly supportive and helpful as well. But yeah, I think Mike, the reason I mention him as an inspiration, because he's just such a, I don't know, he's always been such a like incredibly, you know, pure mind and very fair thinker. And amazing storyteller, amazing. Yeah, I think of, I when we were talking about titles, I was like, oh, CEO is so weird. Like, I don't really like that title. I think of myself really as a glue gun, right? My goal is to get great people together that work well together. It may not seem so at first, but as those teams, you know, sort of glom onto each other, great things can happen. And so that I think Mike was really excellent at that. And I learned a lot from him about how to build teams and how to build culture. And he had no reason to help. I just met him one day at the Hilton lobby at a BlizzCon. Trisha Sugita actually introduced us. He was wearing his button-up Terran shirt. And I said hi, and I think I got all marble mouthed and just like said something like, I'm a huge fan, but not in any like audible or understandable way. And then I just like dipped out. And then eventually I was like, hey, we met really, I saw him again later, and I was like, hey, we met really briefly through Trisha. I was like, yeah, I'd love to pick your brain on just like company. Like, how do you build company? How do you build culture? How do you make sure, you know, people are happy and excited and productive? And he taught me a lot, sort of as an unofficial mentor. Really was a mentor. I don't think he knew that, maybe, but he certainly was. And so he and his team are helping us a lot along the way.
Yeah, shout outs definitely to Megumi X Bear, Trisha Sugita, as he mentioned.
Megumi X Bear.
FlyQuest, obviously she's, you know, in charge over there now, but, you know, a decade ago, like we're talking about, she was a host at IGN Pro League, which I've worked on, and, you know, Twitch helped broadcast through their platform. And
yeah, one of our early streamers as well. Yeah.
Yep. And again, esports and gaming are just a large, small world all at the same time. And Mike Morheim, I will also, again, just give kudos to. It's no secret I worked at Blizzard for a couple of years after IGN Pro League, and he's just the most genuine person. He's not a rich guy. He's just a fan of StarCraft, right? Like that's the person you get in conversation. He wants you to come watch the GSL finals with him, not talk about dollars and cents all the time. So it was really cool to have him in charge of me at some point, right? Really is what it was. But yeah, definitely appreciate all those remarks. And we still do have some questions coming in. I will say keep asking the questions, because again, we are at the mercy of math, as JT explained earlier. He started the compiling process, the verification, all that tech stuff, the provenance on the site and things like that, and I'm still spam refreshing my guys and don't see them yet. So obviously production is going to keep us up to date, and we'll be keeping the stream moving along once we do get those reveals. But yeah, definitely glad to have all of you in chat here with us, and we'll jump to a couple more questions now. Perhaps back to some lore questions for David. I see a couple. One, maybe they missed you speaking a little bit earlier as well, but one asks, are breakers synthetic or organic? And the next question is, what's the story with the ship? Shouldn't we be taking resources to it and not taking from it?
Okay, great questions. Are the breakers synthetic or are they organic? They're a bit of both. Breakers are humans. They are people. They have been chosen by the Dusk to be able to access the ship. And as they go into the Dusk, they are infused with nanites and other arcane technologies. And over time, they may replace certain parts of themselves with technology, which may give them abilities, make them better able to perform their duties on the Dusk, make them look cooler. Or maybe sometimes the Dusk just gives you laser eyes and you don't really have much of a choice about it. But you will see another trait that I can mention that some of you may discover will be synth skin. And synth skin comes in a couple of different varieties. You might get a breaker with chrome skin. You might get a blinged out breaker with gold skin. And these are some ways that our breakers are able to better express themselves and combine themselves with technology. As for the ship is derelict. When the people of Earth discover it floating in space, they are unable to communicate with the Dusk. They are unable to gain entrance into the Dusk until one person, the first person to gain entrance into the ship, Dr. Ayanda Lindiwe. She is the first person who is able to gain entrance, and she has an experience on the ship that we will detail in maybe our webcomic when it comes out. But basically, the story is that Earth has gone through some really hard times. There have been water wars. There have been lithium wars. There's been all sorts of conflict, and we are running out of stuff on Earth. We have just built way too many Beanie Babies, and now we're running out of stuff. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes the ship, the Dusk, chock full of resources, chock full of ancient technologies. And of course, what happens when an alien spaceship comes and parks itself off the coast of the planet? We go up there and we start taking it apart. We put it on cinder blocks, and piece by piece, we're bringing that ship down to the planet in order to keep that capitalist wheel turning. We got to keep making stuff. You got to get your PS4s and or I guess PS10s. So something that we may explore, that we will explore in the story, is what does it mean that we're taking the ship apart? Is that the right thing to do? Is it what we were supposed to be doing with this ship? Does it have a purpose greater than just a bank for us to pull metal out of until it goes away, right? So I am really excited for people to explore that, to learn more about the lore, and eventually make some very, very difficult community decisions all of us as holders of DuskBreakers, as participants in the narrative, to make really tough choices around what happens with this ship. Can't say anything more right now, though.
Awesome. I think, yeah, you've already revealed more than I was expecting on that one, so that's pretty cool. Learning a bit more about the augments and tech that the DuskBreakers will be interacting with is pretty awesome. Gears, someone requested in the chat to make the person's eyes red that you're drawing, but that might be a higher rarity trait. I don't know. What do you think, Gears?
I can do that. It can be rare.
All right. They can be rare. Excellent. Okay, a new question here from Jedian. Sorry if I mispronounced that, but what platforms will the games be built on? Perhaps mobile, question mark?
Yeah, I mean, we certainly PC, mobile for sure. We want to at least cover those. We're looking into console in the future as well, but we're attempting a slightly different development paradigm, not unlike some of the early sort of pioneers of free-to-play. Get something out, start to iterate over time. So it'll probably, we'll certainly launch early experiences as early as possible on PC, just to start getting feedback, start testing, and so on. But the goal certainly is to do mobile. In fact, the other game that I mentioned that we initially concepted was a mobile-first game. With PC and browser experiences as well, but mobile sort of being the core experience. But yes, we want to do cross-platform at least for PC and mobile. Console is a TBD. I think it makes sense. It is obviously a very different interface. So we're just considering how that interplays with the core game design that we want to accomplish. But we want to be everywhere. The ideal mode, obviously, is to be everywhere. All right, we want to be a mass market game. We want to be accessible to everybody. So that is certainly the hope. But it may, forgive us if we maybe launch first PC mobile and then do console after in a year or two. That is not uncommon in the space, but it is something that we may have to consider just for speed reasons.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. He mentioned the the PS10s in the future that we made too much of might still be waiting for a PS5, so we can play DuskBreakers by this point in the future. That's that. Yeah, again, a great answer. I think mobile, just as an industry person, again, I don't work for MetaTheory or DuskBreakers, but I have been in the industry for a decade now, and people for the last 2-3 years have been saying, mobile gaming is the future. Mobile gaming is the future, repeating it over and over and over. Now we're at the point where we kind of know that. Yeah, you don't have to say it anymore. We know mobile gaming is overtaking console.
You need to be there.
You have to be on mobile. And then now, this year, 2021, all I'm hearing is Web3, you have to be on Web3. That's going to be the future. And, maybe we're in that transition period already. Maybe we're already there where it is a must. And, other companies are lagging behind. But we have seen some other players in the industry, gaming industry now, attaching to Web3 and definitely mobile. So happy to hear the plans that are in the works. And of course, that's going to be the answer, is we want to be everywhere, get as many eyeballs attached and, people participating as possible. So again, I want to thank everyone in the chat as we continue on in the stream. We're about an hour and a half, roughly an hour into the stream. We got a little bit of a delayed start, but we hit that button a little while ago, and JT is doing his math, science, wizardry behind the scenes. So everyone patiently waiting for the reveal. I appreciate you still hanging out with us here on the DuskBreakers reveal stream. Reveal is the big, reason for us all to come together here, all the hype building. And I'm just going to mention it. OpenSeas is doing a lot of traffic, so you guys are obviously very excited as well for what's about to come. But any minute now, we'll be able to see what we've minted and purchased, and I'm very excited as someone who's got a handful of breakers myself. You can see Geers Art still here, putting actually, I would say, finishing touches. He's more of a perfectionist than me, I'm sure, but this piece of art already is looking like something I would have as a PC wallpaper. So Geers is just chugging away on that. We've got Kevin and David from actual MetaTheory here for people to ask questions to. And now, as we get closer and closer to this mint actually being revealed, it's a good time to try to get your questions in here. Here is a little bit of a callback to earlier in the stream. We mentioned Axie Infinity, the play to earn sort of lifestyle of play to earn, where some people are benefiting greatly from maybe less developed countries selling to larger countries, things like that. People are asking here about the incorporation possibility of guilds and scholarships like these other games have. And man, there was another related question, but they ask specifically about a specific guild, which I think you're familiar with. So if either of you want to take charge on maybe the act of, I guess, loaning breakers to other players, is that? I'm still a little noobish on this myself.
Yeah, I'll explain how guilds work in this space at a very high level. There's a non-specific, but you'll get a good sense of what they do in the Web3 industry. So guilds like YGG, Yield Guild Games, what they do is they own a bunch of NFTs and they lend those to players who can't afford the NFTs to play the game. And so Yield Guild, most notably, famously, set up in Southeast Asia, particularly around the Philippines, and expanding from there into Vietnam and other emerging markets. And they lend you if you can't afford to buy. So one of the built-in mechanisms for Axie Infinity, Axie is the first game they really built this whole concept of guilds around. You have to buy NFTs to play the game. And so you have to buy 3 NFTs to participate, and it's like a card-based sort of RPG battler. And so in order to play it all, you must buy these things. Now, as the game got more and more popular, an individual NFT crossed $100 and then $200. And so if you're in the Philippines and you're a blue-collar worker or you're underemployed, $600 to get into a game is 3 months of income. You know, that's just, it's not affordable for a lot of people. But as word spread that, hey, I can make more money than my bullshit job playing a video game, the demand went up. And so what these folks did is they go and buy a bunch of NFTs and they lend them to people, and then they take a cut of earned revenue over time. I think YGG's at 30%. Some of the guilds are at 50%. And so now you as an individual can go and apply to be a scholar, they call them scholars, of one of these and get a scholarship, I guess, in theory, from those guilds in the form of NFTs that allow you to actually play the game and start earning revenue. And so it's cool. It's an interesting mechanism that's a layer in the industry that helped onboard more folks into games like this, into play to earn games. For us, we know the guilds well. We are certainly interested in working with them. I think we're balancing the desire to have free to play, as in accessibility to anybody, regardless of income or wealth, to get into the game, with, you know, what does it mean to have to lend. And so we're still thinking about it for our games, and sort of philosophically, how do we want to integrate that mechanism. But in general, for us, anyone will be able to start the game for free and start building over time and earning value over time. So how that interacts with guilds is probably a little bit different than what you see today. In other words, there's not this pay gate for the game. So where guilds integrate into our worlds, into our video games, will probably be slightly different. But I think there's ultimately probably a place for them.
Excellent. That's a very thorough answer. I wanted to cut you off throughout most of it because it looks like they're starting to be revealed. And of
excellent.
course, chat is already popping off. But no, it was a very good, thorough answer, and I'm glad you explained it because I am still pretty new to the space. But yes, we do have some of them starting to be revealed. I'm checking out OpenSea right now. I just hit refresh, and there's a handful of them. Traits being generated. Oh, super exciting time for everybody. Let's get some hype in the chat for the reveals starting to trickle in. And again, I'm kind of noobish. I'm not really sure how fast it is going to be now for all 10,000 to be revealed, but we're going to bring on Bernie now and talk to Kevin, David, and perhaps Gears a little bit later on the stream as well. Thank you so much, guys, for answering all of these questions. I know Bernie is like itching to get back on the call now and start talking about these NFTs. So thank you, guys.
Thank you.
And here's Bernie.
Let's actually stay on for a second, guys. Stay on. We need a couple more minutes, Dave and Gears. But I'm going to show everybody how they can see their art real quick. Very, very simple, right? Here is a URL, dustbreakers.gg/breakerimages. This is how you can see it without OpenSea. This syncs with OpenSea, so don't worry about it. It's real. It's legit. 2544. You see, it's not revealed. It's revealed. All right. That's how you do it. You put your number in the URL on our website. You can see it. It's there. I am not 2544, just to be clear, but you can see it here. Any of you guys, you want me to bring up any of yours? Kevin, David, Josh?
220, 221. I would definitely see my first 2 mints.
All right, this is Josh. This is yours. 220.
She's cool.
You got the
Oh, you got
the
some
gold
greens, you got
smart
some
skin.
gold skin. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. Excellent.
Looks super rare. Oh my god.
I hope so. It's got to
Can
be
you pull
rare.
up 796? I'm curious to see what I got.
796, sure. 796 coming right up. 796.
Oh, I got my face shield. There it
The
is.
face shield. You're gonna be safe from COVID. Only 5% of people.
Very safe. Very safe.
Oh, you got those
so
eyes,
221.
too.
That was your other one, Josh, right?
221. Yeah.
Yeah, 221. There's 221.
Cool. Oh, I like the armor a lot.
Good armor. That's a good armor.
Yeah.
Good armor.
Very nice.
Nice,
Bit plain
nice,
on the
nice.
features, but still a dapper man.
That is a dapper man. That's a dapper man. Everybody remember, you can do this yourself. You can go to this URL. You don't have to worry about OpenSea. Don't worry. It's exactly the same. You can check us later, but this is for the reveal. You can just check it out, and we will rock it. Let's see how we're doing on the next session. Oh, wait. Okay, so anyway, so the URL, I'm going to put it in chat as well, so you can see.
So I
give me a
tried to
second.
link it in chat there. Basically, it's dustbreakers.gg/breaker_images/220.png, except you put in your number instead of 220. But Twitch chat is going to be moving fast. Don't forget, you can also join the Discord, and all of these links will be readily available for you. Everyone's sharing their stuff right now. I'm sure the Discord's popping off while we're in this call here doing the stream. So definitely join the Discord and join the discussion there as well. But obviously, yeah, Twitch chat is going to be flying. It'll be easier for us to share URLs and things over there. But go ahead, Bernie, back to the display here.
I mean, yeah, so this is just your other one. I mean, pretty cool stuff. Like, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we're just getting programming ready for the next ones. Any other numbers you want to bring up? Anybody want to see something?
See, I
On
do have
screen
more. Might as well. Let's see here. How about 1757?
1757.
This is the one of one. It's got to be. Oh, okay. He's clearly unique, but he's not the one of one. Okay.
I'm gonna throw. I got the URL. I'm throwing in the chat here. All right, it's like that. All right, and you add your number and PNG it to the end. Okay.
Yeah.
So like this one we're looking at right now comes out like this. Okay, you can look at yourself, everybody. You can look at yourself. You can put your numbers in.
Yep. Just replace that number.
Just replace that number in chat with with your number, and you see yours. That's it. I mean, yeah. If it's an OpenSea, great. If it's not, don't worry about it. It's right here. So,
is there a number 0 or number 1 we can
Yeah,
look
I'm
at?
curious
People are
about
asking.
Breaker Zero.
Breaker Zero.
Ah.
Oh, very nice.
Yep. Breaker
Got the
1.
Chrome scan.
Breaker 1.
Cool.
I am not 0 or 1. I don't know anybody who's 0 or 1. Who's 0 or 1?
What about 99? What about 99.99?
99.99. That is a happy lady.
There
That
you
is a
go.
happy lady. So again, I will put in the this one in the chat so you can see it. You just replace the number with your number. That's all you got to do. All you got to do. Very simple, everybody. Very, very
Do you
simple.
have to refresh metadata or MetaMask or any refreshing
Nope. You
involved?
don't need to be. You don't even connect your wallet. You can just anybody can look at all the breakers right now. Like you can do it yourself. You can do this on your browser.
See.
So yourself. So that's where we are. Cool. All right, so we can bring on the next session if our guest is ready. I don't know if our guest is ready. Is our guest ready? Let's say bye to David and Kevin for now. Geers is going to keep drawing. Bring me back on the main. I got to put myself back on the main. So here I am. Very, very cool. And then let's go on to the next session. So I'm really excited to bring on this next segment of the show here. So I'm Bernie. I didn't really get a chance to talk about like what I actually do or what I'm actually going to do on the show for this franchise and this project. So I come from storytelling. I did the show Artificial on Twitch. I've been show running and writing and directing for a decade. I've been doing, and my specialty is interactive shows. So these kind of blending interactive sequences. Oh, we got to wait for a sequence because we got a new guest coming in. Ignore that. I just hear me talk. Hear Josh talk.
Just a moment, everyone. Yeah.
Just a moment. We're doing some arranging.
Some guests actually on the stream.
Yes, we got some guests coming in.
The first one.
Yes. I'm really excited to do this next one. So, so I've been doing interactive shows for a long time, doing franchises and so forth. And so what I'm going to be doing here is expanding the franchise across multiple platforms. So there's the game, and a great game team who's doing the game and so forth. And if they're shows, if they're animes, if they're web comics, and so forth, you're going to see a synergy of canon and storytelling being told across all of these platforms. They call it, the old days, they call it transmedia. I don't know if they still call it that, but it's something I do. I've done several different shows, Lizzie Bennett Diaries, Emma Approved, Artificial on Twitch. Won Artificial's first Emmy. Here's one behind me. And I also won their Peabody for the show. Kevin Lin was part of this project too. And here I am bringing the magic, bringing the process of this to DuskBreakers and this franchise. So really excited to be here. All right, so let's bring on our special guest for the stream. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Mari Takahashi, aka Atomic Mari, joining us on the stream, hopefully. Give us a second, come in a minute.
Live production never changes. There's always always something.
It's all good. It's all good. Here she goes. Oh, look at the transition. And there she is, Mari.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Mari Takahashi, ladies and gentlemen. Atomic Mari, an actual holder of a DuskBreaker NFT. Is that correct?
That's right. Up two. I'm so excited.
So excited. So this is what we're doing today. This is going to involve everybody watching here. So you keep checking out your breaker, fawn over them, check out those details of them and all that stuff. And so David and Kevin hinted at this earlier, that we are going to be creating some canon, some story canon here today, right? And with Mari's, one of her breakers, we're going to make one of her breakers canonical to the show. As in, we're going to, as a community, decide some traits for them, perhaps a name, and so forth. So we are going to do that, and we're going to be using that poll that way on the edge of the screen there. So make sure to authenticate to vote. By the way, if you recognize this poll, this is the poll we use for Artificial. We put this thing together really fast, so I'm sorry. It does not say DuskBreakers on the poll. It says Artificial next on the poll. My apologies, but it works just fine. It works just fine. Poll works just fine. And so go ahead and authenticate, and you're going to be participating in this. So, Mari, first things first. Which breaker do we pick for you?
We are gonna go with number 8791.
8791.
My heart is still like racing from this reveal. It was so exciting. It's like I felt like a kid opening like Pokemon cards or something, like card packs. Like it's just, there's so many reminiscent sort of moments of just fervently trying to refresh something so you can see what it is.
Absolutely. I had the same sensation.
Very, very awesome. Very awesome. Okay, so I don't know if we can get Amari's breaker up. I can put it on my screen, but if she has it, we can put it. Okay, we can put it up on her screen or somewhere on the screen. Let's get her breaker on screen. There it is. Nice. 8791. Okay, Mari. So tell us about, like, why are you excited about this breaker?
She looks like mischievous. Like she looks like she got like yet another enhancement, and she's like, yeah, this is me. I don't know. There's something about her. She just looks like she's a good-hearted person who's up to no good. Something like that.
You can just tell. Yeah.
You can just tell.
From the smile.
It's no good.
Yeah, it's that smile.
So authenticate. So again, the extension's on the left. I think you have to push the.
You just talked a little fast about the poll. It is a Twitch extension. Yeah, I think you skipped those two words. So
Josh, you're more familiar with this. How do you do authenticate?
The actual voting on Twitch, everyone's asking how to authenticate, ! Authenticate. It's a Twitch extension, everyone. It's just an overlay on the actual stream. If you move your mouse over it, some stuff should pop up and then you'll be able to vote in these polls. It's not actually in the Twitch chat. So mobile, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to participate, but yeah, do the Twitch extension if you want to help us vote on creating this lovely character here into the DuskBreakers canon, into the actual official lore. So hopefully some people figured it out.
Amazing. Well, let's go to the first thing. So, Mari, you described, what are you excited about her? Let's name her, huh? Let's put some names.
Yeah.
So, chat, come up with some names. Keep it clean. Keep it tasteful. Let's get some names in there. So, chat, what's the name of this breaker? This is going to be a character canonically in our story world. This breaker. What's her name? Throw it in the chat. Get in there.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I'm starting to see some names here.
Yeah. Some Kinetica's a pretty strong opening candidate.
Yeah. I see Allura, Kinetica. That's pretty. Sierra.
Some good names coming in.
Yeah. Some of the traits that I see that she's got ear comms.
Yeah. Well, let's get name first. Name first. We're doing
interesting.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. Is there? Oh, there's.
Yeah,
there's rule sets to this. Okay.
Well, we gotta get the process. This is a process. All right. So pick 4 names. Oh wait, I think names are gonna come in, and we're gonna pick, unless that's not the case, squad. Just tell me in the thing. Just if those of you who aren't familiar with our official the show we did for Twitch, we've done this before. We do a show where we do authenticate. Oh, nothing. I was saying things. We do create characters in this. We do create characters in the show, artificial. So we are creating characters here. By the way, I'm being told that if you can't see the authentication on the poll, you need to widen your screen, your window more. You can't have this like a small window. So make it a little wider. Let's go in there and get that going. Let's get some poll names in here. I'm waiting, seeing if they're going to be transferred in here or not. Want to get a poll going. I'm just excited.
Well, while we're figuring out the poll, or do we have it now? I couldn't tell by your reaction there.
I think okay. We'll just put, what names do you like? You said you like Kinetica.
Kinetica was pretty cool. I gotta say that was a pretty strong one.
All right.
Let's see.
Wait. So are you, so Mara, you see the doc, right? Without the names right now. Right?
I do see the doc. Yeah.
Okay. So 1 second. Make sure. I'm putting the names in. Just helping out.
Chat.
Okay.
Good names chat.
All right. Yeah. Good.
Okay. So the team is getting the names. The teams are getting names. So they're choosing names. So they're going to put the poll up when they can. All right. So while that's happening, while the audience chooses the poll, so I asked you before this. I wanted you to pick an aspect of this character, like a visual something that speaks to you, right? Okay. So what speaks to you there?
Let's see. There's a few things. I think I like. I know that earlier. Who was it? It was Frosty Man Kills wanted red eyes for this character that was being drawn live.
And this character does have red eyes, as you can see.
Yeah, and this character has the red eyes. The chrome is also really cool. She's got a chrome chin in lieu of a goatee. She's got a chrome chin, which is pretty cool.
Ladies and gentlemen, the poll is up.
The poll is up.
Okay.
All right.
So
I think I've decided. I'm gonna go with her chrome bits.
Her chrome bits. Okay.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you can vote on this poll. You can. It is mobile friendly. And you vote. You have less than 2 minutes to vote on the poll. We got 3 choices. I cannot make this full list though. We got Samara, Iris, and Mizu as the 3 names.
Mizu means water in Japanese.
Nice, nice.
I voted Mizu without knowing that.
So get your votes in there. The next thing, audience, while we are kind of speeding ahead, is we're going to talk about the origins of this Chrome. But before that, so Mari, what attracted you to this project?
Honestly, I love the people behind it. You know, I mean, Bernie, we've known each other for a while. I've known Kenvin for a while, and it's just really thoughtful, vetted folks who are behind it. Bernie, you're a multi-Emmy winning storyteller, you know, and I think that with NFTs and Web3, the whole market is kind of it's reminiscent of like early internet, and that's what excites me about all of this in the first place. It's the disruption of it. It's like the Wild West. It's exciting. The possibilities are kind of endless. The creativity and I think, like, most importantly, like the organic sort of communities that are behind all of it. The Discord is bumping. If y'all are here from Discord, hi. And I've been, you know, monitoring the chat and just reading and going back and forth, but it's like just being part of something from the get-go like this. It's so exciting, and I'm excited to see what comes out of it. I've seen ideas pop up even in chat during this stream of like what it can be. I saw somebody being like, whoa, is there going to be like a board game that could be attached to this, you know? And I think TTRPG is a really big place on Twitch itself. I think the next sort of things of what it can be is really neat to see. Yeah.
Nice. Josh, you have any questions for Mari?
I guess I'm curious, you know, with your work background, you didn't really have a whole lot of time to introduce yourself before we jumped right in. The reveal obviously got hype over us, but do you want to tell us a little bit more about what your day-to-day is like and how this might, you know, Web3 and play-to-earn games and things like that might enter your work, sort of?
Sure. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mari, aka Atomic Mari. I started up on digital and YouTube and playing video games and things like that back in 2010. Joshy, I think that's like when you started too, right? 2010 era?
Yeah. StarCraft 2 beta was, you know, February 2010, so that was right, you know, got my foot in the door.
Heck yeah. So us OG sort of creators. So nowadays I have been hosting a ton in the past like decade. Now my eyes are set on acting and continuing on in the gaming space with esports, Space Station Gaming. Big old shout out. You see the chair behind me. I'm a co-owner of Space Station Gaming as well. And so I think it's like with Web3, for us OGs who have been around, and I don't know about you, Joshy, but for me, I feel like there's going to be a knock on the door every day of my life being like, yo, like, go get a real job. Like, I can't believe I get to do what I get to do within the gaming space. And I'm just always really, really grateful. But I think with Web3 and the possibilities of it, it feels like the next wave of things that are new, and it's extremely exciting. And to be any sort of like part, just as an onlooker, just as a person in the community, like you, I'm just a holder. It's a really, really, I think the word organic gets like thrown around a lot, but it is, you know, it's like it's word of mouth and
homegrown.
And, yeah, like it's cool to see even in the chat. Folks that I know, everyone from Rex Dizzy to Kawaii Guy, Omwrecker, Tony K, like people from very different backgrounds, who have come in here on their own accord because of either who they know or just have seen it within the community. And it's neat to see that happening as well. I often think about like
a lot of, you know, industry people, not just content creators, but, you know, business people and, you know, hardcore gamers and everyone in between has something that appeals to them from this, you know, this entire industry, really, this new wave of technology. And you talked about, 10 years ago, YouTube was still pretty new. YouTube was only a few years old in like 2010 when we were still figuring it out. So now this is the next thing, in my opinion. That's why I'm happy to be here, sort of in these, first Genesis waves, actually, literally, when it comes to these NFTs. But I think our poll has concluded now. Thank you, Mari, for sharing all that. But I think our breaker has a name now. Bernie, you want to take it from here?
Yeah, the breaker's name is Mizu. Mizu won. Yes.
Welcome, Mizu.
Love it.
Welcome to the world of DuskBreakers. Mizu has won. We're gonna move right on to the next thing we need the audience to jump in on, which is the Chrome, right? So So how this works, this is a little more artsy. We'll say that Mari has identified the Chrome being this thing that she thinks is really intriguing about this breaker. Where did it come from? What's the story about the Chrome? Make it simple. Why does she have Chrome there? What happened to her, perhaps? Whatever you guys are thinking. This is how the collaboration of creativity happens in these collective experiences. We, the creators, are working with you, the audience, to build things together. And so we want you to come up with some things. Maybe how did she get this Chrome? Throw in the chat. Go nuts. Go for it. I'm thinking this was a tough one because it's always a tricky thing to.
Well, we know a few things about the lore, right? We know that Earth is pretty much kaput, so something could have happened on Earth. We know that there's this giant elevator to the Dusk, this derelict spaceship. Something could have happened on the elevator or in the spaceship. We know there's other breakers. There's these little drones on their back. Maybe there's an accident or a gribble attack, or all kinds of things to draw from here.
Oh, okay. So let's actually give it a little more parts to it. Let's take, how does she use the Chrome in battle? Okay. You can do that too. You can go with that. How does she use the Chrome in battle? Like, what is it for? Well, I can think of a lot of things, but I'm trying not to sway you guys. I think you guys are creative.
Yeah.
How does she use the Chrome? What's the Chrome for? Good.
I like it because I just think of like myself as like being a kid, being a rollerblader, and just being packed on with like elbow pads and knee pads, and I'm just like all padded up, and I'm like, okay, I can't get hurt now. I wonder if that's how Mizu feels with her Chrome.
Who knows? Who knows? I mean, I don't want to like. I mean, I see Mizu. I see the breaker here. All right, what's your interest in potentially voicing this breaker?
Well, that's an extremely exciting prospect that you brought to the table. For me, acting has always been kind of like that big scary pie in the sky pipe dream sort of dream that was scary for me to put into words, partly because I was afraid that I would fail. And so now I've gotten over that, and I'm really putting it out there that that's what I want to do. Funny enough, this year in one of my acting classes, I'm like, I want to voice a video game. And that was kind of like my main sort of thing that I said in this class. And here we are today, making this happen, making
a video game,
making Mizu canon, thanks to the DuskBreakers community. I don't know if it's really hit me just yet, the impact and the magnitude of it, but I sincerely appreciate the opportunity, and for the audience like helping. It's huge.
It is really cool. And if she said no, I was just going to volunteer to do it. I'll voice her. It's fine.
I love it. I wonder if Japanese is still being spoken in the year. What is it? 2068? Is that the right year?
I don't think we've canonically stated the year.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought it was. I thought I had read that somewhere. But maybe that was in the Discord.
Clicking on the lore, no.
No, I don't think we've canonically stated the year. We've had many discussions about.
It does say when DuskTech was founded. DuskTech was founded in 2086. That's all That's the only year I see it. So that's you're.
But what year we're in?
We have no idea.
This, that is not canonically stated. So hopefully, okay, cool. All right, so if you look in the chat, so we got a couple ones. Let's pick a couple you like. Mecha Soldier, she likes headbutting. Okay, so we're in the backstory and use. Peter Kitsch, you know that person. Laser deflection. Scarfino, protection from brain leeches. Jay Zwelly can beam rays from chrome. Crypto Corey to repair her skull after acid attack. Ooh. Scarfino, heat absorption. Yeah. Anything speak out to you guys? What do you guys like?
She likes headbutting is just simple enough for me to, to like that one.
Headbutting. Mari, anything there?
Sorry, I realized that I was on mute. Yeah. I also love headbutting. There's something about headbutting that is still, in some ways, very analog, even though they have all this cyber technology and all that stuff, and she's got chrome on her face. Sometimes it is the simplest thing that is the most I don't know, it's effective.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so headbutting's gonna make the poll. We're gonna pit helps her reflect heat, yes. And then Crypto Curry is to repair her skull after that's an acid attack, right?
Oh, okay. So it's to cover up what has already happened, which is I had an acid attack. Ooh.
Yes,
she would just have a hole in her chin if she didn't have
so yes, we canonically to the I guess with the aliens would be something like when like the gribbles or the barnacle barneys or something like that. Yeah. Attack. All right, cool. I'm gonna attack.
Yeah.
All right. So the upvote will go up, and you guys are gonna vote for that. Yeah. Man, I'm excited. This is exciting.
All right, everyone. Yeah. Voting. Twitch extension. It will be on your actual stream, so make sure you get your vote in. It was only 2 minutes last time, so we are group thinking some backstory here for these recently revealed DuskBreakers, and now the new poll is up. She likes headbutting, helps reflect heat, or to repair her skull after acid attack from aliens, or generic gribble attack, whether it's acid or claws, what have you. But you can vote on how she got her chrome.
The poll is up.
Yeah, maybe she lost that fight. Maybe there's going to be another battle. Who knows?
Or is it?
Or is it?
Wait, is the poll up or not? Are you able to vote?
So I personally was not able to vote, but I don't know. We got some votes last time, so clearly some people figured it out.
Oh, there it goes. Okay, now you can.
Oh, now I see a big vote button. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. they just reran it. I see what happened. Okay, now you can vote.
There we go. Yep.
All right. Well.
Cool. Vote away, guys. Get in there.
Vote away.
While we're still designing our character here, I do see some votes coming in now, so it's definitely working. Anyone in chat? Did you guys get the 1 of 1? Did anyone get the corrupted? Like, really, I'm like anxious to know who got like a really badass breaker. I think links are allowed. I don't want to get anyone kicked from chat, but
yeah, I believe links are allowed. Also, you can just put the number in.
True, and we can look ourselves.
Yeah, you can look ourselves.
But if you got a really awesome one, definitely share, and we'll take a look
please
at
do share. I'm sure the Discord is also going crazy.
Absolutely.
5627 and 1423 are the corrupted. Well, congrats to them.
Ooh, yeah. Big congrats.
Wait, they looked through all of them already? Wow, that's fast.
I'm sure they did it in the first minute to try to put a bid on.
There are so many traits. I'm seeing a really cool one, like red scars over the eyes. Oh, there's like a red painted mask over as well. Oh, there's so many neat traits.
Very cool. Very cool.
I haven't actually scrolled through too much yet, but I like a lot of the helmet designs personally.
I actually haven't even looked at mine yet.
Oh, you gotta look at yours, Bernie.
Yeah, I gotta look at mine. What'd I get? Oh, that one's good. Yeah, well, we're waiting while we're looking. We're looking and waiting.
We need more votes. It looks like there's a tie currently.
It'll actually the thing prevents ties. So
right.
I forget what the tie breaking system is, but it prevents ties. But it's like last person voted or something like that. But the thing I voted for is not going to win, clearly. So Actually hit heat reflection.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No.
You had the rare vote.
I had the rare vote. Yeah, go figure. And we're done. All right. Headbutting won.
Oh my goodness.
Headbutting won.
Oh yeah. That just means that she's just she's like scrappy. It tells me she's scrappy.
Totally. All right. So we got headbutton. All right. So yep, I got it. All right. So next we were gonna go to the catchphrase for this character. She's got a catchphrase. Mizu needs a catchphrase. Mizu the Headbutter needs a catchphrase. People. What's the catchphrase, guys and gals, and anybody else who's in the chat? What's her catchphrase? This is the character creation. Remember, this character is canonical to the show and to the game and to the world. So Mizu will be all around and so forth. By the way, if you have questions for Mari or myself or Josh, throw them in the chat. But yeah, well, let's get them in there. Why does what's her catchphrase? By the way, Mari, I don't even know this. When you were in Artificial, yeah, you played Pepper, right?
Yeah.
Pepper was an audience created name. The audience suggested Pepper, and then the audience suggested that you would be a whatever you were, like a
She was superstitious.
Yeah, you were superstitious, and you would be ESP and all that stuff. Like they actually steered us to that whole thing, and that got you a 2-episode arc. Like I don't know, the arc was also.
She was a lot of fun. She was definitely had another side of her that came out too.
You did so well. It was so awesome to work with you on that one.
I appreciate that. She was a lot of fun, and the audience created a very unique character.
Absolutely, and we're doing it again right here with with Mizu, the headbutter. It's got a catchphrase. What's her catchphrase?
I love Mizu the headbutter.
There is some very funny ones coming in here, and some waiting for them to populate here. It's like, I know those of you still on, you're all excited about your reveals. So hey, this is part of the process. This is part of the process. Again, enjoy your art, enjoy your NFTs. But also this is the thing you're doing. I mean, the power of this is that this could be anybody's character, right? Right now, it's obviously it's Mari's character. So anyway, Josh, do you have any questions for us? I know I'm just ramming through this whole thing, so I apologize for that.
No, I'm mostly just excited. I'm still like grinning ear to ear over here, looking at my own stuff, reading the chat. I'm giggling at some of these catchphrase suggestions already. But honestly, like, this is like the past 10 days of minting and playing to mint and constantly telling people on Discord when reveal and whitelist and all that stuff. This is like the time that we get to relish our investments here and kind of bask in what we've bought into here. So I'm just really enjoying myself, happy to be a part of this. And as far as questions, I mean, honestly, I think we're all just kind of in the same boat. Mari and I just like happy to have a cool thing that only we get to have, and now we're part of this sort of exclusive DuskBreakers club. We've got the NFT to prove it. So it's my first time minting an NFT personally. So yeah, definitely a cool thing for me. And yeah, Bernie, you were saying you didn't know what any of the stuff JT was saying meant either. So how do you feel about your first? Obviously, you're on the inside, and for your first adventure here, Mari and I are just along for the ride. But how do you feel with this thing going live now?
I mean, it was interesting before the art came out. Obviously, before basically an hour ago, it was like I was trying to help build a story for something where I had none of the characters or very few of the characters potentially because the art's being created. And so the way I look at the potential of this, you can go with the rarities and all that stuff, and that's awesome, cool, amazing, right? But like my mission here, in a way, for what we're doing at DuskBreakers is to essentially, if you said this was 1977 Star Wars, before Star Wars was Star Wars, right? And you're saying these are the first 10,000 characters of Star Wars, theoretically. Like, sure, you may not let them mint, Luke or Leia or so forth, right? But you could absolutely let them mint like a Lando, like a Boba Fett, and you just don't know Boba Fett's Boba Fett until he's Boba Fett. And so that's what I want to do here is like I want to be able to take a character that's not necessarily a super rare, or an NFT that's a super rare, and then turn them into a canonical narrative character. And I think that's in many of them. So I want to do that for a lot of things, which we'll keep going. Let's keep doing that right now. So we got some catchphrases in the doc here. How about each of us pick one? Try to stay neutral, right? But pick one. Murray, you first.
Let's see.
You can try them out too. Go on.
Okay. Scarfino says Chrome Dome. That's fun. Sukashen Bomber has a couple. Mizu's ready to go with the flow. That's good because her name is Water. Chromon. That's fun.
Just pick one.
Just use one. Okay. You know what? Let's go with the easy one for me. Sorry to butt in.
That's a good one. That is a good
one.
I'll do
Go for it.
when in trouble, just use your head.
That is a good one.
She's a thinker and a headbutter.
I'm gonna do braver. I headbutt all day until my payday.
I love it.
All right, there it is. Those are the three. And let's go. Keep going.
I love her smile so much because I could see her saying any of those and just giving that smile. It's a very anime like hee like smile.
Devious.
Oh no!
Yeah,
hilarious. I'm just like, and now I'm like starting to look at my NFTs now, and it's like, huh, okay, cool.
I'm scrolling through everyone's right now. It's so fun.
So fun. Let's get poll is up. Poll is up. Go ahead and get your vote in there.
Oh, the poll is up.
The poll is up. We can vote. All right,
everybody. Twitch extension on your screen. Just hover over the actual stream, and you should be able to use the artificial next Twitch extension to vote on that. And I see when in trouble, just use your head. And an early lead here. More votes, the merrier. Keep in mind,
massive lead.
A community event where we're able to flesh out some of the story just by being here in chat. So it's pretty cool. Unique experience here. There's a couple more votes, looks like, just appeared.
Vote.
So I will, let people know also that there will be a tail end of this stream too. We'll flesh out, this character a bit more to the stream. But then I think we're also going to have some announcements at the tail end of the stream. So I want to thank everybody who has stuck with us through this whole show so far. You guys are great. Hopefully you get some good polls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. That's been so awesome.
This has been a really fun stream. I'll say that. Like the chat's been so like hyped up about this reveal and everything, and it's been really cool to see this all happen. So got 20 seconds left. I think I see what's gonna win. So we'll see. We'll see. We're getting there. Very exciting. Yeah, I'm just like mesmerized by Mizu, the headbutter, whose catchphrase is "Sorry to butt in."
That's great. I think it was Sukajan Bomber who came up with that. So thank you very much.
Nice. All right, very cool. Well, Samari, what do you feel? How do you feel about Mizu, the headbutter, who's sorry to butt in?
I'm so excited. I look at these characters and I just wonder, I just think of like IRL like meetups happening and like people like cosplaying their characters and things like that. Like I just wonder what the future of of these communities are going to be like, and I think a lot of it is driven by community as well. So I'm encouraging of it, and I'm excited about it, and yeah, I can't wait to see what else happens. Thank you, audience, for helping us come up with Mizu and who she is. I think she's a she. I don't know. Maybe that's another day for more questions. Yeah, but
we'll take it from here. Mizu's canon. We're gonna see her. We're gonna see her in the narrative. So
yeah,
we'll see that. So I mean, that's basically it for Mari's part in this. If you want, you're welcome to stick around, because guess what, audience? Those of you watching, we are going to create more characters for some of you. That's right. That's right. Mari, up to you. You're welcome to stay for one or the two of these, or play along.
Sure, yeah.
All right,
I'd love to stay. I know that I was going to be in the chat anyway, so.
All right. Stay aboard. All right. So the next one we're going to do. So you may go, oh, it's Mari. Of course, you made her character because it's Mari. Well, we love Mari. Of course, you're going to make her character. But this is a community-driven IP and experience here. So we are going to make one of your characters. The character we're going to do, hopefully 3 in this. The first one we're going to take is Eddy, who won the Play to Mint game. He won it with the highest score, 42,200, if I believe. We're going to take his breaker, and we're going to make it canon. Sorry if you hear a dog barking in the back. It's a little dog there. So, and let's show the breaker. Do we have a number for the breaker? Do we have Eddy's breaker going up? I don't. 1901.
1801.
1801. Can we show it? Can we show Eddy's breaker?
Good job,
It's not Eddy Murphy. It is just Eddy. He's there in the chat.
All right. We got a poll going up with Eddy's breaker. That's going to hit up. We're not getting it from the audience. Eddy sent in some suggestions into the poll. It's going to go right up whenever it's ready. This is Eddy's breaker. But we can give an opinions on this. So what do you think? What do you guys think of this breaker?
I like that armor color.
It is a really cool color. I love the mask.
Yeah.
Love the mask.
The mask. I think the
is
masks
cool.
are some of the coolest, augments that we've seen across the collection. Just any of the masks are pretty sweet. And he's giving a wink. So I don't know if that's a knowing wink or a sarcastic one, or maybe he didn't sleep very well and he's still waking up.
That's a very anime trait.
Yeah. Could be the sleepy guy.
All right. So the poll for Eddy's name is going up. Eddy, the poll's going to go up. But while that's coming up, we reached out to Eddy himself and said, hey, the same thing we did with Mari. What element do you highlight on? And so he wants the audience, the community, to send in ideas. What music does Eddy listen to using his white earpiece? He's jamming. He's winking. He must be pretty happy, right? Hey, what's the music? What's he listen to? So let's get that going. So here's the breaker's name. 3 names. Vote.
I love that Eddy's in there.
Absolutely. Eddy, Hawk, and Jam. I kind of like Jam personally.
Jam's cool.
I feel like
to mind Space Jam.
Could be a cool name, like Eddy Hawk Jam. Say his whole name.
So since Eddy was the number 1 scorer on the Play to Mint game, this might be a good time also while the polls are going on to talk about the Play to Mint that we actually did. It was an 8-minute timer where you run around a spaceship and you blast little bugs that are called gribbles, and they would drop crystals and traits actually that you would pick up for points. You would also break chests and footlockers and all kinds of things along the way in the center of the aisle or along the walls and get more treasure. There are treasure rooms that if you broke open a door, you would find a whole bunch of these chests in one spot, but also you could build up a combo. So the way you build up the combo is by breaking these little boxes all along the way, and then once your combo is like times 20, times 25, then the much larger boxes that normally take a long time to break are much, much faster. And so Eddy was one of the first people to figure it out, how to get that big combo going what objectives were the most important to like rush to, and that is the treasure rooms, and then there were a couple of bosses as well that dropped, you know, tons of loot. So Eddy figured out, you know, the most streamlined 8 minutes that he could possibly do, ran it over and over and over, and managed to get one of only 2 scores over 40,000 in that pre-mint event, play-to-mint event, excuse me. So good job, Eddy. Being a gamer, figuring out a, you know, brand new arcade game from scratch, and then being our top performer. And we can see on the poll now, he's immortalized. Eddy.
Eddie's Eddy.
Eddie's Eddy.
Eddie the
That's
Breaker.
awesome.
Eddie the Breaker is up, and then we got some. What music does Eddy listen to in his white earpiece?
Did Eddy provide the options for this as well?
I think the audience is supposed to suggest, right?
Ah, okay. Let's suggest in that
Hold
case.
on.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift. Taylor Swift survived the centuries, perhaps.
I saw somebody earlier say Cloud Debussy, which was like, ooh, wow. Classical.
Niche interest. Yeah, interest.
Yeah.
Crypto Crunk, I see in the
Ooh,
chat.
that could be definitely a huge genre by then.
Deep House
Crypto crunk.
feels very fitting.
I love it. Podcasts. Podcasts in the future.
But those of you still in the stream, are you seeing this drawing happening in this corner by
Yeah,
Gears?
the drawing is evolving. I noticed the face mask getting some work done now.
It is coming along.
They look like they're like in hardcore battle. Like,
Well, he is battling a breaker, so or Gribble, sorry, not breaker, Gribble. Gribble. All right, let's get
Awesome.
these in here. What do we got there? Hyperpop, lo-fi, grunge.
I think Crypto Crunk was pretty clever. I'm gonna give my vote to that if that's a thing.
Oh, well, we'll just get it in here. Crypto Crunk.
the calming music in the back of this Twitch.
Oh, here's the poll. The poll is up.
Too late,
What
didn't
music-
make it.
Yeah, someone made it apparently. It says hyperpop, podcast, lo-fi, or grunge.
Vote. We are creating characters. And then while that's happening, ladies and gentlemen, the next one up while you're voting for the music is going to be what is it? I had it in the notes here. It is going to be the quirk. What is Eddy, who listens to some music, one of these 4, what's his quirk? Come up with something. Go in the chat.
The quirk for my character in Artificial was that I was superstitious.
That's right.
And that small quirk was such a huge driver of her personality and how she spoke about things and how she was affected by things that were spoken about. So yeah, the quirk is an interesting one, audience.
It's like deceptively consequential, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. My mind jumped to very, a chain of events, really. He's sleepy, hence the eye thing. He's got the mask, so I think he has really bad breath and yawns a lot, but that's like too complex. I feel like that's too much.
The quirk is like that he doesn't brush his teeth or something, or he hates the dentist.
So they put a mask on him.
Nice. All right, so Hyperpop has won. He's listening to Hyperpop.
Right.
Very cool. Let's get those quirks in, viewers. Get them in there, and the group will pick them and get that poll up for us. Hyperpop. Nice.
Hyperpop.
This is the Hyperpop with his earpiece. Very
Shout out
cool,
to the
Eddy. Sorry, I'm scratching this
saying
stuff.
The quirk should be one for all. That's a My Hero Academia reference. I like it. No, better. Come on, chat. Get some quirks out there.
Get some quirks in there.
Always sleeps with one eye open. So his quirk is that he is distrustful, maybe?
It's as a writer, like, because you take these things and you try to turn them into bigger than things than they are, right? So like the hyper pop, It's like, how do you use that in defining his character? It's not like, oh, you listen to hyperpop. Like, there's like a reason why you do. Like, what about you makes you listen to that? And so, sorry, from a writer's perspective, again, like you said, with the superstitiousness, right, for your character Mari and Artificial, it's hugely consequential. It's like deceptively consequential. And those of you who are unfamiliar with my work, my ethos in this interactive storytelling method, like why we're spending the time to do this, is like, we want you, the audience, to be consequential to the story, DuskBreakers story. And this is why we're giving you a chance to do this. And this is probably not the only time we're going to do this, by the way. We're going to keep doing things like this throughout the building of the game, the show, anything else you're seeing about with the narrative. I mean, you're seeing Sue the scheduler you get to talk to, or you get to interact with on social media. Like, you're gonna find ways to influence the story, whether it be in really small ways, like asking a question, or really big ways. So, yeah. Anyway, we're getting the quirks going up on the poll. I haven't even read them yet. What do you think of these? You see this?
Yeah, I see the poll. We've got sticks gum on back of his ear, which is like a cybernetic ear, so that's interesting. Dances after defeating a boss. Winks when lying, which I think is pretty clever. And then afraid of static electricity, which, maybe static electricity is more lethal or terrifying in the future, but that's just his thing.
I don't know.
It's understandable if you've got a bunch of metal parts on you. You need to ground yourself.
True. Maybe the elevator up to the dusk has problems with static electricity, people getting fried on the way up or something like that.
Yeah. Who knows? This looks to be a very, very balanced poll right now.
Get those votes in if you're still with us here in the Twitch chat. Again, thanks for hanging out with us as we design some characters. There will be a little bit more news information toward the end of the stream. So right now we're just having some fun with our newly revealed NFTs here and some story building, and looks like this poll's got just a little bit more time left. Some people are saying their votes don't work. It's okay. We'll fine-tune this process as well if we end up going with the poll system again in the future.
Yeah, I don't know. It feels suspiciously like not
It's
registering.
like it wants me to vote, but it's not allowing me to. I don't know. 34% though. Dances after defeating a boss. So Eddy listens to hyperpop, dances after defeating bosses. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it does.
It all works together there.
I love it.
Cool. So we got Eddy. He's canonicalized. You're going to see Eddy around in the story someplace, somewhere. To be clear, we're not saying this is a main character. We're also saying that's not a main character. Just like with Mari's Mizu. Saying the same thing. Let's move right on here. We want to get this thing going. Next up, we're gonna make a breaker character for the person who plays second in the leaderboard. Their name is Zepps. Who plays second in the leaderboard. And let's get his breaker up. Zepps chose breaker 1332. 1332. Okay. And we got a poll right away. Got two name options going up. We got Dax or Kane. That poll is going to go up very quickly. And while that poll is going to go up, we're going to talk about we're going to ask you to suggest about Zepps' red eyes. Zepps' red eyes.
The poll is live now. Dax or Kane, and then chat. We're figuring out. What's up? Go ahead.
There's a question that he's asking, Zepps. How do his dates respond to your red eyes?
Interesting.
No. I'm confused. No. Okay. Well, so. All right. So.
Ooh.
You
okay over there, Bernie?
I'm confused. What question to ask the audience here? The red eyes is the favorite.
Red eyes?
Yeah, but tell us about the red eyes.
All right, chat. Is there an explanation for his red eyes? Is he just born that way? Is it colored contacts, the fad?
Can you change your eye color in the future in this world?
Let's see what happens here. Oh, we got to vote on a name here. Voting is happening.
So far, it looks like Kane is taking it. Oh,
Kane for the win.
Kane for the win.
Kane for the win.
That's 3 4-letter names. We have Mizu, Eddy, and Kane. I don't know why.
Oh,
That's something I noticed. But
We
short
had
and sweet.
Official that we had purposely. We had too many 4-letter names in the show, and so we actually started giving people longer names, like Mari's Pepper. So nice.
All right. Some people are trying to explain the red eyes, it seems here.
I mean, I think some of these are pretty good. So yeah, so we'll let them go for that. Let's get that poll up when we can. Moving along.
Oh yeah, just again, this is Zepps, Zepps in the Discord. He's been very active all week, and it was again one of these guys in the Play to Mint that was just kind of like the star of the show for most of the event. He had the top score for most of the Play to Mint event until Eddy was the only person to leapfrog him in the last 2 hours. So Zepps, we thought he was going to be crowned king, but Eddy got the snipe there right at the end. So he's first to canonize here, but Zepps obviously joining him here with Kane, the Breaker, and his red eyes.
I totally didn't know that's what happened. So you were watching this like a hawk. The play him in.
I was doing the play to mint. Personally, I did it Friday night was the first opportunity we had to play. I set a score, something like 27K, and was like, okay, that's top 20. We'll see how it is when I wake up. And then I fell in a number of spots to 40th, 50th, something like that. So I played a few more, and the mechanic for the Play to Mint event was that if you were the first breaker to discover a trait, you would be called out as AskJoshy discovered red eyes, rare trait or whatever. So I was interested in that. I was like, well, my score is pretty good. I don't know if I'm going to beat it, but I'm going to keep playing and try to discover some of these traits. So on Saturday, day 2 of Play to Mint, I only got one discovery because they had all been playing all night, I guess. So I topped my score one time and was happy with my 13th overall. But I was definitely watching the scoreboard to see how people were doing and picking their brains. Like my score is 33K, they were getting 40K. I needed to know what that difference was. So Zepps and Eddy and them definitely were sharing their insight. And Eddy says he has a funny story with getting rank 1. If you go ahead and type it out, I will read it on behalf of you, Eddy. But Straw Hat Dad saying Zepps is the reason I hit rank 17 once I got the flow from his tips. So yeah, they were having
That's
It was a good
awesome.
weekend.
It's actually really impressive as an observational point of it's like watching this game kind of just be dropped, right? And it's not. It's an arcade game, right? It's not the real game. I mean, we need to reiterate, it's not the game that's ultimately going to be the game that we're building, but it's like a game that showcases the world. It's fun. It's it's not a big learning curve ask to get in, right? And I'm really glad to see that you, Josh, and a lot of other people had a really good time playing it. It's really inspiring.
It's also cool that the
definitely-
community was helping out too, with tips and things like that.
Absolutely. We got a poll that just went and we didn't even respond to it. But where does Kane's eyes red come from? Why are Kane's eyes red? Is from he encountered the red corrupted. Okay, cool.
All right.
Awesome.
The lore there, awesome.
Or at least claims he did, because we were told earlier in the stream that the corrupteds might be like a ghost story. So maybe he tells people that's how he got his red eyes. We'll have to see.
We'll have to see. All right, moving on. Final one. We need Kane with the red eyes. We need his hobby. What's his hobby? Tell us his hobby, everybody. What's his hobby? Get in there. Type it out. But anyway, fascinating about the play to mint. That's just so cool. That's so cool. Just saying, Josh. I'm just like so.
I'll write a bunch of these if you want me to. Character backstories. I mean, I'll do mine. and submit them to you, and then see if you like.
Canon. See we go like nah. We'll see.
Self-submissions.
Yeah.
Things I'm really curious about is on because NFT world. I know all three of us are pretty new to this, so usually the NFT is obviously the price is predicated on the rarity, right? Okay, but how does the value shift when you essentially take potentially something that's pretty common and turn them into a very lovable character, hypothetically? You know, I'm just curious. I'm really curious to see what happens.
It hasn't been done, right? Not to my knowledge, at least.
Yeah, it hasn't been done. So I'm curious. It's just like, you know, the value of the regular dude, regular gal, you know, changing because there's a narrative on this.
Mm-hmm.
So
it is cool. Yeah. Definitely
yes.
Part of why I'm interested in the project is the fact that I read, you know, holders sway the narrative or, you know, make decisions at least collaboratively was really cool.
Absolutely, and that's something where obviously we're still building it out, so I don't want to make any promises. But the essence of, look, in these polls, for example, anybody can vote. But the essence of, you take a major story point in the show or the narrative, and the only people who can vote are people who are holding breakers, theoretically, right? Then that's like crazy. Like what
crowdthink, group source.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so I always use the theory of example of like, what if the audience could vote on the ending of Game of Thrones, which everybody pretty much hated? You know, so like, what if they threw that to the audience and let them pick, you know, who dies and lives at the end, and just see where it goes? And when the showrunners, you know, Benioff and what's this guy's name?
Weiss.
Yeah, Weiss. We could have been just like, well, it's not our fault. Like,
you
did this.
Yeah. We should pick where Westworld goes next. I would love to do that. Just give them a new setting.
Oh man, I used to love that show so much, and then I don't know.
It's still cool. All right, so the poll did just flip over now, and I will also read Eddy's story about his first place while we're still talking about Zepps Breaker Kane here. What is Kane's hobby? It's either killing spiders, teaching young breakers how to do their jobs better, or cooking. And those are all pretty good hobbies to have, I think.
Those are great.
All those years later, and we still have spiders, huh?
You can't get rid of them.
Can't get rid of them.
So Eddy writes in the Twitch chat here, for those, you know, watching the VOD or whatever, I didn't get into the pre-sale like some of my friends did because I didn't know about it. Historically, I find a way to get to places in esports, and I saw a community manager say it doesn't hurt to get a high score. On Sunday, the last day of the play to mint, I woke up in 7th place and prioritized getting dim sum with my mom, which I was looking forward to all week. She even offered to leave the 30-minute long line so I could get top 3, my goal at the time. Since it's common for top 3 to be rewarded, basically because my friends and family believed in me, so I went for it and beat the score, and then decided to beat that score. So you're saying you wanted the best chance of minting, and your mom even was like, okay, you can leave lunch early to go try to get first place. That's a great story. Yeah, I'm down with that.
Your first place was fueled by dim sum. Oh, that's great.
I mean, look what it got him. It got him the mint. Well, we would have gotten the mint, you know, very likely anyway, right? But the top 3 got him this. Got him a character be canonicalized. So I see something. Yes, Style Piggy Eddy was number 1, and if it's not clear now, yes, we are going to be doing the top third person leaderboard as well. So winner poll, teaching young breakers how to do their job better. It's like a mentor character. I love it. Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so we
get some dim sum, Eddy.
So you got Kane, who what was the second poll? I forgot the second. Or is that
Zepps was
the
explanation for his red eyes. Yes.
Yeah,
so
the red eye.
What I'm imagining now is like the hardened breaker who's like teaching the noobs and like scaring them with his red eyes about the story of meeting the red corrupted, something like that.
That's right. Good stuff. It's good stuff. Okay.
Sounds like a real back in my day guy.
Yeah. Want to know how I got these scores?
Let's move right along. We got to do one more. We got number 3 on the leaderboard for Play to Mint, Warlocks breaker, and his breaker number is Not sure yet.
What you got for us, Warlock? So Warlock is another guy, again, during the Play to Mint, was definitely very active in the Discord server. And there is, Quest 2, Quest 3, some VR headset action. I like that. Good choice.
Awesome.
This is breaker number 1752. We got a name poll going up in seconds.
That's so cool.
And I can tell that so what Warlock said that his favorite trait of this breaker is the mask.
Okay.
And so based on this, the question is, what screensaver do they put on their mask?
What? So what is, yeah, okay. Their happy place almost, what screensaver? Okay, chat, let's figure out first a name here in the poll. We actually have the options on your screen right now, so you have a minute to vote. Warlock's breaker's name will be Diana, Kira, Inari, or Ophelia. All of them, actually, I recognize with some historical significance. So I will say that's how I name characters traditionally in D&D games and things like that, is I will just Wikipedia princes and princesses or like, country mythology and just pull names. So I see some various influences here, but Diana, Kira, Inari, and Ophelia, and Warlock saying help give our queen her name, so maybe he did also go the royalty route. I like it.
Yeah.
And so chat, we are figuring out something about the mask, the screensaver. What is in this breaker's mask that they like to look at occasionally?
Yeah. Throw it in chat, guys. We got a poll going. We got a screensaver thing going. What's going on?
I like the color of this the purple hair. It's very Ghost in the Shell purple.
This
True.
This is a really good choice for a breaker. I really like
That's
this.
a good poll. It's got a lot of unique, cool features. The armor, the headset, the red drone.
And the blue on the face, those little lines.
Someone suggested the screensaver is the DuskBreakers floor price. That's all that Ophelia apparently is the poll winner. So that's all that Ophelia cares about is the floor price. When reveal.
When reveal.
Ophelia. That's cool.
Ophelia. It's a great name. Good song.
Yeah, it's an awesome name. I don't think I've ever met an Ophelia in real life.
Don't think I have
met
either.
Olivia's.
Yeah,
I think
Olivia's been known
Ophelia's more of
Ophelias.
a Middle English, Victorian era, more so. It's cool though.
Nice.
All right,
Yeah, it's very
so
cool.
Ophelia, we're still getting some answers here for what is in Ophelia's screensaver for the mask that she's wearing. So if you guys have funny suggestions or lore related, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We'll do another poll. And this is our, I believe, the final breaker that we're fleshing out on the stream here, and then we are going to bring back some of the team members for some final things. So again, appreciate all of you sticking around and helping create the story here on day one of the reveal.
The Matrix Revolutions.
These are
New
good.
poll is up. Penguin sliding down an ice slide. Gribble racing. Dusk fails of the week. I like that. And Earth before it got ruined.
These are all good. These are all good.
Very,
I like
very
them.
good.
Is Penguin sliding down an ice slide? Is that a Fight Club reference?
That's so obscure if it is.
Polls up, people. Get in there.
It could be that.
Whoever suggested
Everyone-
that, let me know if that's the reference.
Yeah, now I'm curious about the tech itself. Like, is it? I know my Oculus Quest 2 has cameras on the outside so that I can see, and not bump into my furniture. But maybe the DuskBreakers have augmented reality that like highlights gribbles around corners or something.
Ooh.
I don't know if this is like the baller tech or if this is like the intro level tech.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those votes are very even. If you can vote in the poll, Twitch extension right now.
I
Got a few
wonder
seconds
what's
left.
up. Like some people feel like they can vote really easily and other people
Twitch
can't.
extensions, you never know if are they updated, are they compatible, stuff like that. Oh, a bunch more votes just popped in there, looks like.
Warlock seems to be interested in these. Warlock says
He
these are
says,
so
"Death vote
good.
for my poll aren't work." Was was Earth before it got ruined the one that you wanted, Warlock? Because that's what won. That is the answer. Earth before it got ruined. So I'm picturing like David Attenborough, like Planet Earth, and oceans and those types of documentaries, basically just on screensaver, on loop. And then she pulls the mask off, and it's like, oh, everything's ruined. And I go back to my headset here.
That sounds good to me. Probably get started to get written
Warlocks
tomorrow. And then okay, so we got a final thing we need you guys to put in, which is what's Ophelia's catchphrase? Ophelia's catchphrase. Got armor. She's got screensaver going on. What's her catchphrase, people? Throw it in the chat. Catchphrases can be very, very also deceptively consequential. So
it says a lot about a character if they're saying it a lot.
Yeah, very deceptively consequential. So
just bam, just the word bam.
Bam.
Bam. Hey, it worked for Bam Bam.
Well, Emerald Gossi.
Oh yeah. Did he trademark Bam?
Pick it up.
Oh no, did he? Does he have an NFT for it though? Is the question.
Oh, that is the big question.
I was gonna say, actually, I was gonna make the joke earlier when we were talking about the self-submitted lore. I own these breakers. They are non-fungible, sir, so I could write whatever I want about. Canon is one thing, but I could write a whole fanfic series if I wanted. I could give my characters voices in a YouTube series if I wanted. That's another interesting thing about, this
cool.
NFT is a store of value that you own.
It is an IP that you own.
It's interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. Gosh, I never thought of it like that.
Yeah, I mean, if Bernie won't put my guy in the show, I'll do it myself.
Damn, these are like fighting words. We just met, man. We just
I'm just excited. I'm excited. I got all these new things to play with. It's cool.
Absolutely.
It's grown-up toys, man. Like Christmas is in a couple weeks, and my friends and relatives are like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I'm like, "Chocolate." I don't know, but I want this is cool. This is like the thing that's actually getting me excited.
Oh man, that reveal, yeah, that was a fun reveal. Super fun. Very, very excited. I'm also looking at Gears' art too. It's like this art changing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know, Mark, if you can follow on the side here. But
I'm gonna get a good look at that as well by the end of the stream.
Actually, pretty soon, I think, because I think it's gonna be the next thing we're gonna take a look at. Oh, we got a new poll catchphrase.
What we got?
All right, Bam. Obviously made the poll. Fix yo pipes. Hands off the mask and come get the churros. All right, come get the churros.
I love that. I love it. What does it mean? What could it mean? It's great.
What does it mean to get churros?
Come get the churros.
Who knows?
That seems like a fun thing. Like that could become a chimichanga sort of thing with Deadpool. Like it became such a big thing with chimichangas.
The go-to comfort food.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. It's gonna be wrapping up. All right. So, and after this, we'll have Ophelia set up. I feel like the churros are gonna win. Who's gonna?
I mean,
churros.
If you give people the option for delicious churros, it's kind of tough to be those other options.
Basically, just a long donut rolled in sugar and cinnamon. Can't go wrong. Can't go wrong with churros. And the ones at Disneyland are like 3 feet long. It's pretty...
Right, and they have seasonal churros and gotta catch them all churros. They got all kinds of churros.
Winner. Second last thing.
With the snipe.
With the snipe at the end. Well done.
Fix your pipes.
Fix your pipes. There's a lot you can do with that. So
awesome.
We're gonna wrap up this part of the segment. So
I think I'll take off as well, Bernie.
Yeah. So, but Mari, we just want to make sure that for your character, we did. So kind of do a little recap of your character. We got Mizu. What do we do? Oh, she headbutts with her chrome head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she has a catchphrase. Sorry to butt in. So that's your character.
That's my character.
So Mari, thank you for joining us. It's been awesome having you. I hope you enjoy Gazoo and your other NFT as well. So.
Yes. Yeah, I feel like the other one now needs some love, so I'm gonna go take a look at my other NFT and, you know, maybe give it a name myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe. Let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, chat. Joshy, thank you so much as well. And congrats to the whole team. This has been such a fun day, and onwards. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Thanks
The
for
dust.
joining us on the stream, and you know, we'll enjoy seeing you around through the DuskBreakers events to come.
Heck yeah. Alrighty. Thanks, everyone.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
All right. It's gonna be just you and I for a second, and let's check it out. Check out what Gears put together, huh? Oh,
Absolutely. So yeah, we've been monitoring his artwork throughout the stream, and now we're about 2.5 hours in from the time we actually started drawing this. So, you know, that's the art that we're looking at right now. Definitely would take me a year. So the fact that Gears just slammed this out in such a short time is pretty awesome, and he's still putting some touches on it now. But Gears, what do you think? Do you want to tell us a little bit about the scene that you've got depicted here? That's looks like it's still in progress.
Yeah. So basically, it's just a close-up shot of a breaker going through the perils that was the Play-to-Mint game. I'm sure you've experienced it before, but having Gribble sneak up on you from behind is one of the worst feelings, especially when you're low on HP and have a really high score. So trying to capture sort of that essence of it, just putting some finishing touches on, making it more presentable for wallpapers, and it'll be done in a second.
Excellent. Yeah, so he's talking about the Play-to-Mint experience. There were basically bugs of 3 different sizes, kind of like a small, medium, and large, and you'd be breaking open chests, and all of a sudden they would just be nibbling at your ankles, your health slowly going down, and if you were not careful, you would end up, you know, getting eaten alive by these gribbles before you could actually set your high score. They were all along the walls, and occasionally you would find these treasure rooms where you break open a door and there's just 10, 15 gribbles waiting, just piled up behind it. So capturing the terror, the anxiety of the breaker there, trying to safely break while gribbles attack. I definitely feel that in the emotion there. So it's really cool. And again, chat, this is something that we will probably be dropping in the Discord for everyone to, you know, download and use as wallpaper.
awesome. All right. So yeah, we'll get that shared to the community. Here's you're welcome to keep going. But up to you, man. We're gonna bring while that's happening, we're gonna bring Kevin and David back in to the party. Get them back when you get a second. By the way, Gears, I just want to say this is amazing. This looks so cool.
Thanks. This is good timing. Getting close to being done.
Yeah.
It looks awesome. I'm gonna swing by the Discord again and just let them know that we are bringing back on the team to chat.
Hey, there they are. Dave and Kevin back.
Welcome
You got
back.
you got to unmute.
Hello.
Welcome back. Welcome back.
Happy to be back.
Man, what a show, huh? Reveals are
Fix your
out.
pipes. That was fun.
Some really great lore. That's fantastic. I'm excited to see these characters like come to life. Really.
Yeah, me too. I'm like chomping, you know, with the other writers too. It's like, yeah, let's go. LFG. Let's get in there. All right, well, cool. So we're like wrapping this baby up. We got some things to talk about. So Kevin, David, what can the audience, the fans, or the community see next? What's going on? What are we doing?
Well, Dave, you want to go?
Sure. I have been monitoring the Discord. I have been monitoring the socials, and the community has been pretty adamant in saying that they would really like to play the game again. So we're happy to announce that we are pushing a new mini game experience live. Again, this is not our main game. This is not the game that you're going to be playing next year, but we got a new game experience dropping as soon as the website updates. It should be in the next few minutes. There are some very interesting mechanics that we are introducing. It's not the same game that you played for Play to Mint. So Kev, maybe you want to talk about what's different that we've added?
Yeah, I mean, primarily, so we're doing another 48-hour play window. Anybody can play. What we're doing this time is, since this was designed as a play to mint game and we're not minting anymore, we're partnering with a number of friends, partners, NFT project partners, and doing a bunch of giveaways. That information will come out through Discord and Twitter. We are setting some score targets on a community basis. And so rather than on an individual basis, we're encouraging you all to play and get your friends to play with you and try to drive that score up. And as that score hits certain thresholds, we'll do giveaways both from the DuskBreaker universe and from our partners as well. Some of the example partners that are working with us, some friends from the space that are wanting to embrace the DuskBreaker community and work together include Genopets, Neon Heroes, On-Chain Monkey, Kaiju Kings, Oki's World, Black Santa, Alpha Girls Club, Crypto Unicorns, and potentially a few others. So play the game. It's not about individual scores. We're going to be giving away through various activities as those score thresholds are met. So by playing the game, by posting on Twitter, by chatting in Discord about the game experience and what's going on, and just generally celebrating DuskBreaker story and culture and community, you get entered into the sweepstakes, and we'll be giving away those sweepstakes, random drawings as the game progresses over the next 48 hours. So yeah, stay tuned. Play the game as much as you like, and enjoy some giveaways.
Huge. Pog.
Love it. Game is back. 48 hours. And prizes.
Yes.
And
prizes. You
lots
named
of prizes.
A whole bunch of NFTs. I've heard of some of them. I'm still new, but I've heard of some of these, and I'm excited. So I did see our Discord. I've got both chats open now, Twitch and Discord, left and right of the stream here, and both sides were blowing up there. Lots of poggers, Kaiju Kings collab, OMG, huge 48 hours, game soon open ? So yeah, again, in a few minutes when the website refreshes. So tonight.
Yes,
you'll be able to
new
start
game
playing.
that's right. It's coming tonight. You will also see under your account settings on the website, you can choose a breaker to be active. That will activate that breaker in game. There is some API wonkiness going on right now. We're still making sure that that's fully locked in, but you will be able to see your breaker represented in their profile picture in the game. So integrated, and we're excited to see some replays. We're excited to see some streams, some new high scores, and it's a cumulative experience. So everyone who plays will play a part. Every 100-point game that my mom scores when she tries to play the game on her Surface, it counts. It all adds up. And if we hit that top point threshold that we reveal probably tomorrow, if we are able to hit that point threshold within 48 hours, we will have a cool announcement for the community. That will be a big community prize, but we'll get there.
Excellent. Super goal.
Mm-hmm.
A super duper goal.
Yes.
Oh, one thing to mention. Breakers, if you are a breaker owner, anybody can play, like we said. If you are a breaker owner, you get a points multiplier, and so we really expect you as part of the breaker community now to carry the score, to help elevate this cumulative score target that the community is striving for, to help unlock those prizes. So play as much as you can.
All right. And then with that, we actually hopefully are going to have a final guest related to these community prizes, I believe. All right, give queuing to come in. But while we wait for our special final guest, what do you guys think, Kev, Dave? How do you feel about all this? It was crazy, right?
It's been so much fun. And thank you, Bernie, for putting this show together. Thank you, Joshy, for joining us in the Breaker community, but also doing the show on very last minute notice. And obviously as gracious as you always are as a host. It's good to see you. But yeah, it's been super fun. I mean, just thinking back, even just 2 months ago when we were just starting with this project from the ground up, it's been a blast. The community's been awesome. We have a lot of great particularly engaged community members that have been helping us a lot, and excited to unfold the story and excited to show you what we got on the game development side. It's been great.
I'm excited about every announcement you guys just dropped, and I can see again, like the Discord, they're already like, how do I play? Let's team up. Like, we got to get these point thresholds and giveaways and things. So everything tonight has just been a blast for me. Again, I've said it a few times tonight, but I don't have anything to do with this company. They just said, hey, do you want to be on the reveal stream and hang out, ask questions? And I said, absolutely. So definitely happy to be here. And now, I've got my own breakers that I want to dig into, and I'm happy to see all of this stuff. I'm ready to play. I'm a gamer, so I'm gonna go for that top leaderboard every time. So I'm as excited as all the people in Discord and Twitch chat right now. So Bernie, this last guest, any tease there, or do you think he's ready to go?
We're just hold on a second.
Okay, still figuring it out.
Oh, and I see through the Discord and Twitch chat, you can play the game at DuskBreakers.gg.
Nice.
Yep, just go to DuskBreakers.gg. There's a play tab right up there in the menu. And make sure to activate if you have a breaker, if you own a breaker. Make sure to link your MetaMask wallet to the site, activate your breaker, and get that point multiplier in game.
Sorry, Josh, throwing it to you and Gears to talk about Geers Art finals while we get the guest in.
Okay, so Gears, are you about finished up there? What do you think? How's it coming?
Yeah, I think I'm done. Unless there's something that the community thinks I should add.
No, I think they're just in awe of your skills for the most part. But yeah, just want to, I guess, we've got a little bit of an awkward angle here. Yes, if you want to maybe left to right or right to left, show off.
Sure, I can zoom
maybe
in a little
detail. Bit. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so we have a gribble in the background, the notorious point killers, and then the flustered look of somebody caught mid-break.
With the red eyes. By request.
With the red eyes, yeah.
Very cool. You can see the sheen on the mask, the visor there as well. Thank you very much, Gears, for this excellent wallpaper that you're providing for everybody. We're very glad to have you. Got any closing remarks?
Keep an eye out for the webtoon/comic in the future. Hopefully it looks something similar to this. Keep an eye out for some more animated media posts on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll see what else happens in the future. Hopefully it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for all your hard work. And there's the last look at Gears live stream creation here. Very nice. And for everyone in Twitch chat, again, we're probably going to be dropping this in the Discord for everyone to be able to enjoy. And working on getting a last guest here for the stream before we close everything out.
Go for it. All right, we are back, and we have a new guest.
What's up, guys?
What's happening, Jay? This is Jay from Genopets.
Thanks for having me.
And what's going on, Jay? So Kev, Jay, talk about what's going on.
Where do we even start? I don't know. I guess we're excited for DuskBreakers, obviously. I'm Jay, one of the co-founders of Genopets. We are a free-to-play move-to-earn NFT game. We reward players for living an active lifestyle. So we're obviously close friends of the DuskBreakers community. Thank you, Kev, for having us here today. We have a special reveal and I guess a precursor to some of the exciting giveaways that you spoke about earlier. Kev will be hatching his Genesis Genopet live on stream here as we close out the show, and then we'll be giving away a Genesis egg as part of the fun to come over the next 48 hours while everyone's playing.
Excellent.
Yeah, I first discovered Genopets actually pretty early on when you guys were just launching, and I thought this concept of move to earn was really fascinating. We thought of another we've told Jay this, so they've been really gracious and helpful in just helping us think through a similar sort of pet-based game. But I thought the move to earn thing was pretty genius, like something that actually might cause me to go for more walks and get in better fitness.
Exactly.
But aside from that, the art was beautiful. I did hatch an egg previously, and these guys are just so incredibly thoughtful about even just the initial experience around their eggs and around the hatching experience. It's beautiful. It's interesting. They bring in, sort of, they force you to think about these critical steps, almost like a simple video game. These sort of door 1 or door 2 selections on essentially helping define the personality in your reflection of the pet. And it's just a really awesome experience. So really excited to share that with the audience.
You kind of coined the play to mint term, and I didn't even think of that when we were first doing this, but we built a game out of hatching your egg and getting your Genesis pet. Your Genopet essentially is like your digital spirit animal. It's a reflection of you. And as you play the game, your pet will grow and evolve based on your real world action. So bringing the metaverse into the real world, we integrate your daily activity. So much like a step counter would, and you use your steps in the real world to evolve your pet. But the start of that is imbuing your personality into your Genopet. So our Genesis pets are procedurally generated based on essentially a personality test that we'll be doing during this hatch here in a sec. Bernie, are you going to pull it up or?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's
awesome.
Go to let's do the hatch.
Let's do it.
Transition over. Here we go. That's be big. Here we go.
Nice. Discover your spirit animal. Let's go, Kev.
So talk about what we're doing here.
Yeah, so this is the Genesis hatching experience for anybody who owns a Genesis egg, which are on marketplaces. There's a handful left out there if you do want to acquire Genesis egg. We'll be giving one away as well, as we mentioned. But this is the experience that you'll go through to imbue your personality into the Genopet that best matches you. Our Genopets aren't a predetermined set of JPEGs. They are procedurally generated based from a component library of thousands of components. So what you select here will determine the Genopet that best matches you, both from its metadata. When you go to read it, it reads like your personality, as well as the aesthetics that end up matching with you.
All right, so I'm just gonna get started, right?
Yes. Discover your spirit animal. Can we get audio from the stream, or we?
You don't hear it, right, from my side?
No, I don't. I hear some epic chill DuskBreakers jam though, which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't think we can do it, but
oh, I hear.
Oh, there we go. There we go. You do not have. I don't think you have the right wallet connected. You gotta have a Genesis egg in your wallet to connect. To hatch it.
Connect wallet.
So I'll just say, while we're figuring out the technical aspect of this, that creation process sounds very cool, interesting to me, novel, creative stuff there. So I'm excited already by just the fact that you're taking like a personality quiz before you see what hatches in reflection of your answers. That's kind of nice. Something I have not seen before.
Yeah, a large part of it is again kind of game lore, in that we want people to really have a deep connection with their NFT, and that starts obviously by minting one that's a reflection of you. I think we're getting closer. There we go.
Cool.
Just take a step, breathe, trust your instincts, and choose. Explore or conserve.
Ooh, Bernie. All right, we're doing this together.
Oh,
so
okay.
I was going to say, is this Kevin making the decisions or Bernie now?
I mean, someone could play. Whoever wants this Genopet to look like and feel like them.
Okay, well, let's rotate. Otherwise, this will take a while to debate. I'll go with explore for the first one.
Explore. I'm gonna go with flow. Okay.
I'll pick.
Joshy, shall we make it a Cerberus?
Yeah. Let's go end.
Ooh, implicit.
Oh, I'm gonna react.
Nice. Let's see. Let's go. We lost the epic music, but it's okay.
Here we go. Okay, so what's happening? Tell us what's happening, Jay, right now.
Yeah, so what's happening right now is basically we just took your inputs plus a salt of your wallet address and use our algorithm to determine the body parts of Genopets that will be put together on the fly right now to render a pet that matches you. So there's 12 different augments to a Genopet, components that make up the Genopet, and thousands of different possibilities for each of those 12. So once you click summon, we'll see here in a second what your Genopet looks like. Nice.
Ooh. Okay, so obviously the word Patronus just popped in my head because of the four-legged spirit animal.
Epic Mr. Potato Head ever.
Yeah.
I like it.
I like
It's
its tail.
it's got like one of those like Murakami sculptures on its butt.
That's what it is.
Yeah,
there you go.
Oh, whoops, sorry. Can I?
No,
show
you're
gonna show it
here.
again.
We're loading. We're loading. When you claim and share, you
Hey,
get
look at that.
full glory. Epic. Spinning around.
That is.
It's been around.
I like it.
That is sexy.
That
There's
is
shared
pretty
responsibility over this Genopet,
I
guys.
was gonna
So
say,
I was just gonna
get your
say
steps in.
this is definitely like a group think pet here that very much represents DuskBreakers.
I like it. I like it.
All right, very cool. Very cool.
Epic.
That was awesome. All right, so this is tell us again, like how can our community get one of these?
Absolutely. So I think Kev we're going to announce details later on a giveaway for a Genesis egg for somebody in the DuskBreakers community to be able to hatch their own Genopet. If you can't wait, or definitely know you want one, you can also head to a marketplace like Soul Art, Magic Eden. We're built on Solana, so Soul Art, Magic Eden, FTX US also has Genesis eggs. Hatching ends on Tuesday, 9 a.m. Pacific. So the end is near for the hatching Genesis experience.
So this will be our first giveaway for the arcade game experience community challenge. So keep your eyes peeled to Twitter and Discord for details. And if you do win, make sure you go and hatch it. Is it at genopets.me?
Yeah, it's at genesis.genopets.me.
Genesis.genopets.me to hatch before Tuesday. Don't forget. And if you do want to pick up an egg on our marketplace, make sure you do that before Tuesday. Otherwise, sad things happen.
Things happen.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay, thanks for joining us. Thanks for the giveaway, and thanks for making something super awesome. Very excited for the game to come out.
Thanks for being in our corner, guys. Looking forward to playing here now that the game's back open.
Yeah, give it a try.
Awesome.
All right.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Have a good
Jay.
night.
Bye.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's go back to Geers and Josh. So I think we got a time lapse, right? That we can show. Hold on, I'm gonna load this up. This is actually not gonna be on Gears' screen, but however this is gonna be displayed, we can do it, or you can, yeah. That's up to you. Oh, let me come back. There we go. Let me 1 second. Oh, here we go. We're back. The four of us are back. What's up, David? How's it going? We're gonna wrap up. So this is our goodbyes. We're gonna be not quite. We're gonna all say bye here. Then we're gonna show Gears' time lapse with a completed wallpaper that's gonna come out.
I'm back. I was playing the game.
We're gonna end our stream. David, what a team player! What a team player!
Way to contribute.
Gotta contribute, man.
Team player. He wants that Genopet.
Yeah, y'all messing up my high score because I had to cancel out. So
in the hatch here, that's the Genopet.
You've been gotten by the gribbles.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so final words, I guess, or final questions from Josh. What do you?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously we had a ton of content to chew through. Brand new project, lots of brand new people to it, talking about, you know, the vision for the project, long-term goals, short-term goals. Now we have the playable game and the giveaway. We've seen now our NFTs and started to assign them, you know, bits of lore. We learned a lot about the lore and the setting of the game and experience here from David. Kevin taught us a lot about, you know, the company itself and DuskBreakers visions as well, how they fit into like Web3 and the ecosystem that already exists. So we learned a lot. I learned a lot. Hopefully all of you watching the stream did as well. I'm just, again, a part of this community, so I'll be in the Discord asking questions to these guys throughout, you know, the upcoming weeks and months, and they've been very active in the Discord, by the way, as well. If you're not a part of that, if you somehow managed to make it here to the Twitch stream and are not on at discord.gg, it's discord.gg/duskbreakers. I think, I'm pretty sure they've got that secured. Yes, so go check that out, be a part of the community. We talk a lot in there over the course of the week about everything related to the project. So I don't really have questions. I'm pretty much still just excited, and I think that they dropped more information on us than I even expected to get. So as a satisfied holder, I guess I really just want to thank you guys for answering all the questions we did have, all the chat's questions as well. Nothing really springs to mind. It looks like most of the chat are satisfied as well, saying thank you, starting to play the game, enjoying, you know, trading and selling and things already. So yeah, good job. You know, it was a 3-hour stream, but we're really just you know, chugging along, learning more about this DuskBreakers universe, and it was a lot of fun for me. So if you guys on Discord or Twitch stream want to check out my stuff in the future, I'm at AskJoshy. But again, I'm just a guy with some breakers. I'll be playing the games alongside all of you. Kevin, David, Bernie, part of the team here. JT, we saw earlier on the stream. Geers, of course, doing the drawing. These guys are actually the ones building the game and stuff like that. So definitely follow them. Any instances you get to on social media and stuff like that as well. So to close, you know, final thoughts, I would say, David, you've been the lore, the story guy. Do you feel like we've, you know, accomplished something here tonight with the reveal, and how are you feeling on about all of it tonight?
Oh, I feel great. I'm really happy that we were able to talk about the lore a bit, explore some of the story behind the traits, DuskBreakers in general, but also create some new lore. I think that experience of collaborating with the community to really take some of our top players and make them into canonical characters in the story was so much fun. I'm really excited to continue to do that in the future. Yeah, I think this has been fantastic. If anyone has any other lore questions or want to talk about the story, I'm always in the Discord. You can find me under Warfront. Just send me a message. Very happy to chat with you there.
Excellent. And now, Kevin, same sort of deal. Like your project's in the wild now, more so than ever. How are you feeling about our big reveal day and what just went on here?
Yeah, it's really fun. Just looking at the Twitters and the Discord and seeing people seeming pretty happy with what they're getting, and generally just excited about the project. I think that's the most important thing. What we're going for is this is a long-term build. You know, we're really building a game. We're really building stories. We're really going to make comics and animated content, and really, you know, embrace the sense of, you know, community interactive story creation. Yeah, it seems like people are genuinely excited for DuskBreakers, for the project. So thank you for your support so far. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being part of the Discord community and Twitter, and for sharing this with friends, and thanks for playing the game. And yeah, we'll be doing as much as we can. As frequently as we can. We ask for patience. I know a lot of high expectations now in the space, and we hope we can give you some fun stuff along the way. And thanks again, Bernie and Joshy, for pulling this all together.
Absolutely.
And thanks, Geers, for making amazing art and for being an amazing talent. I can't wait to see what else you do. And it's been a pleasure working with you again.
Likewise.
Yeah, this has been just super awesome. I'll just say that. And it's like I've said this publicly about jumping into this and not being an expert in this space at all. I mean, who really is? It's so new, right? But I really do see this technology and this method as a huge leapfrog in interactive storytelling, in immersive storytelling, and in storytelling. And I'm so psyched to be building and running with you guys on this one. Can't wait to get in these new characters, build some more lore with the community, especially. And yeah, what you saw tonight is just the beginning. It's just a taste. We're just getting started. So stick around with us. Have fun, enjoy, and one of the things I think I was really proud of to see with the team is that yeah, sure, floor price is a thing, but we're not talking about floor price. So we're talking about long term, as Kevin said, games, lore, story. You want to talk about floor prices? There's a channel for that. That's cool, no problem. But we're more interested in the build and the story lore here, and with people like Joshy and Mari and dedicated members of the community, not just the top players, which are great. Eddy, Peter, and Zepps, great, awesome. Zepps, awesome people. Happy to build with them, and happy to build with others who just want to tell stories with us and play some games. So yes, I guess that feels like a good place to stop, huh Josh? What do you think?
Yeah, good kickoff. Well done, everybody.
I mean, this is awesome. So final thing we're going to show a time lapse of Gears. This is amazing art. We have that for you, and that's it for us. You can find us all in the Discord. We're all there. Warfront, Vinlin, Bernie Sue, AskJoshy, right? And with that, good night, everybody. Find us in Discord. Check out your breakers, share them, talk about them, and let's show that art on Gears Art too. Don't forget Gears. Let's show Gears Art and the time lapse. Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night.